Okay, guys, thanks for your patience. We're starting a bit early. We got a bigger crowd this time through. Let me just introduce everyone, make sure I have everyone's name right. On the left, of course, is our UDP, our little dinosaur man. Say hello.
Oh,
I could barely hear you, man. Try again.
oh, God damn it.
We were testing sound levels. We got this figured out. Don't start speaking softly now on me. The next,
Sorry.
yeah. Next up is Ebulosis, I believe. Being a bit shy, that's fine. Okay, we have Marius.
Hello.
And of course, Master Stu, and these are all fellows from my Discord channel, and they've been gracious enough to give us the time of day and share their opinions with us on at least one video. We're going to be doing two, but the first one is Space Doc's video on why Mass Effect 3's ending is perfect. And in case you know anything about my channel, this is rather a contentious issue, which we've already dealt with over the years, and it just keeps popping up. People love the ending, people hate it. There's all kinds of reasons why, and we're going to go through one of the more congenial videos. I haven't seen too many. This is probably the nicest and smallest of all of them, of why the game's ending works. Is that how to put it?
It's the Todd Howard of endings.
Uh,
If I may ask, just for the benefit of viewers, how old is this video roughly? When was this made?
This was on N7 Day, the most recent N7 Day.
Oh, so only about a month or two ago. Okay.
Indeed, sir.
yeah, so people are still thinking about it. They're still looking back on it, and this is kind of the point of, or one of the points of criticism is that you can say this piece of art has a lasting impact, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong. And that's why we criticize. That's why we're still talking about these things. Art doesn't really go away. It influences us. It inspires us for good or ilk. So this is why we look at this stuff which has affected us in some way. I wish this art would have been perfect, as we all do, but as we know, that's not how people are. That's not how production schedules work, and that's not how big AAA productions end up turning out. So yeah, that's how it goes. So if everyone's ready to go, we're gonna get started.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey everybody, I'm Daniel from Space Dock. In March 2012, Mass Effect 3, my favourite game of all time and the best game in the Mass Effect trilogy as far as I'm concerned, was released.
Subjective opinion. He backed it up by his opinion, saying, as far as he's concerned, no problems here.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Generally, people loved the game, but rather famously, people hated the ending. Huge numbers of fans really disliked the ending, so much to the point that BioWare ultimately released their Extended Cut DLC, which doesn't change the ending, but adds additional context to the meanings of what happens there.
So I have to intervene there. He says that he only changed it a little bit. We went from galactic-wide destruction to a little space fart.
Yeah.
There were some
But
expositions, so they did feed some stuff in with their PowerPoint presentation, so that's good. It's definitely a bonus.
I guess it's better than just leaving it on a blank screen, but if it, like, as I said, I think you covered this back ages ago when you did the reanalysis of it. It kind of just raised more questions. The whole thing, honestly, it it may have fixed a few very minor things, but overall, it just made the mess, worse. And it just seemed to spread it out, at least from what I could see.
I think I said something along the lines of that it made more problems than it solved. Like it filled some things in, but some character elements, like you see, like the little GIF pictures here, they're nice, but they don't resolve the main problem, which was the premise was completely off, the theme was off, the central conflict was off, the plot was off, the plot goal, like everything just changed within 10 minutes, and they're trying to just make that 10 minutes 20 minutes. That was about it. So
It kind
Yeah,
of
pretty
like,
much.
yeah, it just seems to give, I guess, people their, wanted their feels, kind of, I guess it gave them something, but even in that regard, I don't think it did much for them, really, to be honest, but that's subjective, really.
well, I like the fact that we can stop time from Harbinger blowing up our loved one as the The Mako just sort of sits there and he just sort of stares us down as we say goodbye to Caden or whoever the hell. It's like, yeah, that's nice. Thanks, Bio.
Yes, please, just come and take them. I don't mind.
It was very contrived, yes.
Sorry, am I interrupting? No, this is a bit of an awkward moment here.
I need to say bye to my loved ones. Oh, God.
Personally, I had no problem at all with Mass Effect 3's ending, even before the extended cut was released. It's
Whoa, wait a second here. what was...
Playing, son.
Wait, how could he not have a problem before the extended cut? That was like, okay, you have a giant gash in your leg. We're going to give you a little 2-inch Band-Aid there. How does that feel? Oh, no, I was fine before. It was totally good. Like, oh, really? Okay, thanks. Let you bleed out and die. Okay.
better with the extended cut because it's just more information, but I still think the central concept of that ending is perfect thematically for the entire trilogy, and I'm going to explain why. At the end of Mass Effect 3, you're faced with three...
Now, he didn't say what theme he was referring to. He just said thematically. Yeah. So what themes do we know in the trilogy that were perfect in the ending of Mass Effect 3? There's certainly a conflict between the organics and inorganics and the Geth in Mass Effect 1. We can say that.
Yeah.
There are Reapers. They are the bad guys. That is a central theme, yes.
And yet the Reapers have changed completely from the first time they were introduced, according to the Catalyst.
Yes, that's true. They started as a mysterious, all-powerful, super genius, immortal machine god race to a bunch of guys that want to keep you from killing each other because you made robots.
Yeah, and their origin is even worse. I usually joke about it being akin to someone spilling coffee on their computer.
It's bizarre. Why would they want to have this reveal? What if we didn't know what they were trying to do at the ending, and we're just like, we are doing this because it's beyond your comprehension. We can't explain it to you. You do not have the mental capacity to do it. And we'd be like, no, we're here. And Shepard would keep saying that. He even had the opportunity to get that question answered by a spider reaper on Rannoch, and it didn't seem to care. So it's like, all right, it was a mystery up till this point. And then the last 15 minutes of the game, yeah, we're going to start telling you about how bad synthetics are. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the problem with that is that the theme of organics versus synthetics was solved on Rannoch and Mass Effect 3. So why do we have to reopen that theme at the end of the game when it was technically solved earlier?
That's a very good point. Okay, Darth Malrak says Mass Effect 3 is like Mass Effect's TLJ.
Was before it.
Yeah, I'd say it's just like the ending is one element, and I would say it would have started at Mass Effect 2, but that's just a story angle, not necessarily an ending. The disaster that is Mass Effect 3's ending is so encompassing. You can see that I can definitely see where he's coming from with comparing it to the ending of, or at least of The Last Jedi, to the Star Wars franchise as a whole. So yes, I could see what you're saying there.
Yeah, the only other theme I could really possibly draw from Mass Effect, but it gets muddled when you get past the first game, is the idea of humanity kind of, their place on the galactic stage, I guess, if you could even call that a theme. But that gets really muddled in the second, third game when they start putting Cerberus in there.
Oh god, yeah.
Then everything becomes about Earth in the third game, and it's kind of a mess even from that perspective. Because I kind of liked that in the first game, how humanity was not the big force in the galaxy. They were a potent force, but they weren't the big force politically. They had a lot to prove, all these older races and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I liked as well, and that's what I got annoyed about with the sequels, is it's like, oh, now humans are everywhere, and they run the show, maybe.
And they're very important, and they're in the Terminus systems, I guess, as colonists as well.
My Shepard wasn't even from Earth, so why am I retaking a planet that isn't technically mine?
So it's actually something that I found really quite funny. You know, like they moved the Callus, the Citadel to Earth. It's like, so if they can move a mass relay, why didn't they just move the Charon relay, the Charon relay somewhere else? So when all the fleet turns up, they all kind of go, "Ha! Wait, this isn't Earth." It's like,
Well, the idea of the focus of humanity and Earth and Human Reaper was like, why? And they were told, "Oh, we're special. Why?
Why?
We're compatible with cybernetics. Why? I mean, you're machine gods. You can do anything. What?"
I thought there were other races that were compatible with cybernetics anyway. Like, what does that have to do?
Quarians.
Yeah, the Quarians are alleged to have cybernetics, so that's just one point anyway. So.
If we were to consider humanity as a theme, or humanity as a will to power, or as a growth, like the concept of Cerberus or the Humanity Front government organization that never went anywhere, it's kind of could have been sort of part of that because Earth was special for some reason. But that's the only thematic thing I could see as a pattern. So unless you guys have anything else, we're gonna keep going here.
Just one final thing. I believe Earth was added as a cheap ploy to warrant sympathy and make the player artificially connect with it. But it felt, as you guys mentioned, it just felt very forced and didn't have a place in this.
yeah, it's just the marketing angle, isn't it?
And this is the
Precisely.
first introduction to Earth, all things considered, in terms of gameplay.
Well, the Earth mission was pretty thrown together. Entire pieces were missing. Sound was missing. Music was missing. You had like waves and waves of. It was the scene with the Gatling gun where it's all quiet and all of a sudden you have a shooting gallery. Like what? Why did that even happen? There were lots of moments where it's like, this is not, something doesn't feel right. And
I don't know if it was you that mentioned this, Smud, but on Earth, someone said, it was either you or someone else, the Earth mission would have worked a lot better if there'd been a nice sort of peace and quiet bit that was like 20 minutes or half an hour where you get to learn about Earth, learn what's going on politically, do a bit of world building, I guess.
well,
Have a bit of calm before the storm kind of thing. That would have maybe made people a bit more invested in Earth than just,
that would have
somebody
helped.
gets attacked. Yeah.
well, yeah, but not
Still
when you have
way too late in the narrative.
Yeah, if you have like your entire fleet of the galaxy bombing Earth, and if one of those shots missed one of the Reapers, you just launched a nuclear-sized bomb hitting the planet. And this is like hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of ships with these amazing Phoenix-level weaponry. So we're kind of blowing away Earth as we're trying to save it.
Mm.
But that's just a little observation of that wonderful cutscene of ships attacking Reapers, depending on your EMS. So.
Oh yeah, Earth gets obliterated at the end no matter what, pretty much. So. More so.
3 choices. 4 if you have the extended cut, which again is just more context. You can use the Crucible to destroy all synthetic life, meaning the Reapers, the Geth, and Edie. You can be convinced by the shady Elusive Man to use the Crucible to control the Reapers, which, as we see in the resulting montage, seems to have a rather sinister overtone that implies that it has basically just turned humanity into more Reapers. You can pick the green synthesis ending, which essentially merges organic and synthetic life into this new third form of sapient being that now lives across the galaxy. I hate this ending. I hate it because it is clearly a studio-mandated get-out-of-jail-free card ending that is sufficiently vague to not properly explain what you're doing and to...
Okay, they're all sufficiently vague. They're all just, we're going to destroy synthetic life. Okay, so what if I have a peg leg? What if, Shepard's partly synthetic? Does that mean he dies? How about the entire Quarian race? How about all the Geth? How about the AI on my Omni tool? How about software? How about, I don't know, if I have a pacemaker? Like, all these questions start popping up.
Yes,
that's
like
what about-
broad term.
What about VIs? Do they count as artificial intelligence?
Yeah.
They got VIs in them, which the Geth are VIs.
The problem is that it is not clearly defined what synthetic life is, or synthetic.
Which makes the choice of any of these things just valueless if you don't know what it means and you don't know what you're doing. With the control ending, there's at least two of them, and you can get a flavor of what was going on, even though it makes no sense because, well, all that you are is gone. You're going to die. So if you're going to die, then do you have consciousness or an ego to enact your will? We don't know. What does that mean? What does it mean to be the new catalyst or the new guy in charge? Why can't we just tell these guys to go take a hike or launch themselves into the sun? Why can't they just, I don't know, go to another galaxy and plant flowers for eternity? I don't like what it's so generic and up in the air that none of these that any value.
It's just it. It's like if Shepard is dead, then how is he controlling the Reapers? Assuming we can, and why do we? Like I said, why do we have to keep them around?
Why is destroy even an option? Yeah, I know this is kind of like going against my initial programming, but yeah, you can kill us all off. It's like, oh, okay.
Sovereign said in the first game, which is apparently still canon in the third game, that they're all sovereign nations, so they're suddenly going to be taking orders from a lesser life form, according to them.
It's just a giant mess, and to say that the extended cut fixes those problems, it doesn't even address them. It just makes the epilogue bigger, which is like, oh, okay, some of your friends didn't die. Great. How are they living? What happened to them exactly? What is Edie doing? How can Edie be? What does it mean to be green? What does it mean to have telekinetic thoughts with a plant? Like, what the hell is going on? It makes zero sense.
It's an interesting concept, but just not one that belongs in the Mass Effect universe. It's more like something out of, well, Deus Ex is always the example brought up when the synthesis ending is discussed.
Well, that was about cybernetic implants, whereas people kind of go, well, in Mass Effect it was nanotechnology, which doesn't make any sense because you'd have to build the nanobots to actually go into each individual thing, and you're spreading them across the entire universe faster than light, which is impossible for that nanotech to actually even affect anything. It just falls on its arse, really.
Yeah, and how does an explosion cause that?
Yeah, it's like you're killing more of your nanobots than you are.
Let's not forget, this is one Deus Ex Machina device that we were building throughout the entire game that somehow summons a second Deus Ex Machina device, and they don't explain how any of these things work. We don't know how it works. Apparently, the super genius gods never even conceived of this idea, even though they were aware of it throughout the eons. It's like, oh yeah, we knew about the Crucible, but oh, here it is. Oh, this changes everything. Like, wait, I thought you said you knew about it. So why didn't you make it? Why didn't you do this if this was your goal? And why the hell are we making a choice in the first place? These guys are gods.
It's just a power source.
Yeah, it is just a power source. So why are we walking up a ramp? Why isn't he dragging our ass into synthesis or whatever?
Well, that's what I said. It's like, the little thing that lifts you up, the ending. Why doesn't just Catalyst just kind of go, yeah, and just launch Shepard into it's like flicking like a catapult,
Yeah, synthesis time, baby. Let's go. You're the man. Let's do it.
Wait, where am I? Here. Boink. Bye.
Yes, nanomachines. They answer every question. We just don't know how and why.
To allow people to feel like they've accomplished something when they have made demonstrably the wrong choice, because the entire point of the final decision of Mass Effect is that there is no choice.
Oh. Okay.
Oh. So the ending isn't perfect then. Okay.
So the whole point of the game is that a game based on choices that affect the galaxy don't have choices.
In a way, he's actually right, because Mass Effect has proven that your choices never really mattered in the first place. So he is just in the wrong way.
Oh, where do we begin? I mean,
there is no choice.
is this some sort of quasi-meta philosophy.
I feel like this is almost, you could say this is like a weird meta thing on BioWare's part. Like, well, you made all these choices in the game, but when it really matters, there was no choice, or some crap like that at the end.
Well, the choice with the Arachni was clearly made in moot, depending on what you did. They always get turned over to the Reapers, regardless, which was arguably one of the biggest choices throughout the series. You let an entire species die or live, and then they would come back and help you out in the war. That was supposed to be a really big thing. And it got reduced to, no, they're just slaves of the Reapers. It's no big deal.
Yeah, they're just brought back so they could be mooks.
Yeah, so in that regard, when the choices start getting hard for BioWare, that's right. They reduce it. They simplify it. They streamline it so you don't have to worry about what is this. But why didn't they do that with the genophage cure? Why didn't they do that with the Geth? I mean, they seem to care about those two elements, but not the other bigger choices, which to me means it's going to be two things here. It's either going to be an issue of production value, they didn't have enough time or money or resources, or it's an issue of bad storytelling. They just didn't think these things through, and they went with the easiest possible solution.
If I was to be generous, I would say it's a bit of both. But I would say from my point of view, it's probably mainly a production time issue, considering how hectic the development was from what I've heard from like Razorvic, other Racevic, and some other channels have talked about it. Their production, the best, so to speak, especially under EA. So.
Yeah. Well,
It's not only that. Like, if you've read the Datamined data that was leaked, I think it was in November of 2011, the whole structure of the game was changed pretty radically towards the end of development.
Yeah.
Yeah. Javik was the catalyst originally, and they completely scrapped that and put him as DLC. So that changed the entire structure of the story itself. Like, yeah, Cerberus was supposed to capture Javik.
Oh. Huh.
But that might have been cool. We were about to buy Javik for like $5 for about 2 days, and then they made it free or something. A DLC from the ashes. Oh my god. Okay, Jamin Cohen with a super chat. What the Star Child said of synthesis was asinine. Now that we know it is possible, it is inevitable. Oh, so it's only inevitable if you know about it. Well, apparently to supercomputers who can think of any technology in the past 50 billion years, couldn't think of this thing. So as soon as they see their new toy, they're like, ooh, hey, we can do that thing we've been trying to do for all this time instantly, just because. Some ants on the ground figured out how to do it. And we can now convert it into a massive energy source that can go across hundreds of thousands of light years and change all organic or whatever inorganic life into itself. I don't know. It's just so insane to even consider. Science fiction, what are you doing?
Yeah, like whenever this comes up and I talk about it with people, I don't even like to get into the specifics of each ending because they're just mind-bogglingly crazy. And you start, it just gets worse and worse the more you think about them. So I usually just tell people fundamentally the way they presented the choices was bad. Let's not get into the specifics of each choice and whether any of them are good, because ultimately none of them are particularly good.
So we can agree with Space Doc here that there is no choice. Okay, he's right.
Yeah. There you go.
Synthesis, control, and refusal all result in the elimination of civilization, either by completely destroying it, causing it to be enslaved by the Reapers, or replacing it with something entirely different that does not represent what you fought for across the trilogy. The only decision that is right is destroy.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Doesn't destroy destroy civilization throughout the galaxy? I mean, it does blow up all the relays, and if you're on low EMS, it definitely kills people.
And does it kill all our cybernetics? Kill us in the process?
Well, we don't know exactly. Shepard certainly dies. He's part cybernetic. All the Geth die. All the Quarians die. All your software dies. all your spaceships die. Everyone starves to death.
Synthetic could literally mean all tech. Like, it doesn't specify.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because the catalyst says that. Oh, yeah, I think we'll go on to say that it doesn't discriminate between synthetic technology, but you'll see in the ending, like the epilogue ending, you'll see the Quarians there, and just like, well, they've got synthetic components. Why are they still alive? So it can differentiate between targets. Come on.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where he's going with this, unless he's being really generous to the high EMS destroy.
I was gonna say, like, the only, I guess, somewhat okay ending for people that have all their, feels and stuff is the high EMS where Shepard takes, that gasp of breath under the rubble. I guess that's a something at least, but it's not much.
But even with low EMS, the only option is destroy. That's all you get. So it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, jeez.
So they want us to destroy everything? It's just like that's a solution. Like why would the Reapers even want to do that? It's like, oh, you only can do this. Oh shit. I guess okay. We're dead. Bye. See you.
Yeah,
What does EMS has to do with the catalyst though? Like the choices look like they're part of the Citadel, not part of the the Crucible.
Or the Earth, actually, it's all concrete, isn't it?
Well,
destroy. I don't know why the Reapers would even give you destroy as an ending. It just seems half.
It's like, you're
Thanks,
our
guys.
opponent. Yeah. Hi. Oh, you're our opponent. Here's a button to destroy everything, including us. Here you go.
It's been a good
Gonna
2
let you
billion years,
decide.
guys. We've had a good run. It's all right. We're done now.
Well, they put the plans together. Well, it looks like we're screwed. We might as well end it now.
Maybe they were so embarrassed that the ants figured out a technology they couldn't think of. It's like, oh, God, this is really embarrassing, guys. How could this have possibly happened? They could undermine. Okay, let's just let them do it. Go ahead. Yeah, we're too embarrassed to go on. Just go.
Reminds me of like, how did the Crucible actually manage to dock? Like, cause another thing as well that they say is that we can't beat the Reapers because of we can't beat them conventionally. It's like, then how did the single most important object make so many course corrections so slowly towards the Citadel? Like, why wasn't this the main target of focus? Like that thing could have just easily been blown away at any given opportunity, but it wasn't. Why?
I think you've just discovered a plot hole that even I didn't think of.
Right.
How did it get there?
Oh, it's because they protected it. It's like, did you see Sovereign and Master? And he just went, you know what, lol, I'm going to go through you. Bye. They could have just rammed it. And even if it did manage to dock with it, they could have just kind of gone, nope, boop, and then just popped it off. Go, nope, Mr. Crucible, backed off you go.
Well, the design of the Crucible, if we remember, each piece is created by different organizations or groups over the years. So I'm kind of thinking, that giant metal ball shield that came about, like someone must have gone over the thing going, all this stuff, all the technology's done. You know what we should do? We need a really big ball. Just cover the whole thing in metal. That'll be great. You're like, what does it do? Oh no, it doesn't do anything. It's just a big ball. We're gonna launch it at our enemies. It's like, why? Like, what do you do? It just looks good. Like, there's no practical reason for it. It doesn't provide any shielding, as far as I can tell. Nothing gets damaged. It sheds it off halfway.
Microphone. So it's like the microphone cover that you have, like that soft padding.
Oh yes.
It's Shepard's gonna sing to the Reapers, and they're all gonna go like and just like collapse.
It's a cover for your microphone. Thanks. That's fantastic.
Have to choose to let the Geth die, you have to choose to let Edie die in order to save the current population of the galaxy and the population of the galaxy in all future cycles from the Reapers. The game is telling you that in the face of that decision, no sacrifice is too great. Edie herself spends almost the entire game underlining how she has learned that she is willing to sacrifice herself in order to preserve the freedom and safety of sapient beings. And
Well, this is more like akin to being Renegade. Like, Renegade will do whatever it takes to be the best and most efficient solution finder. So it's more that is coincides with the spirit of the dialogue system, I would say, not necessarily the idea of like, you do whatever it takes to stop the Reapers. I don't know if that was a central theme. I mean, obviously, any story is about stopping the bad guys or defeating your enemy. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
It just doesn't seem to gel well with the Paragon Shepherd, because Paragon Shepherd is always about finding, the best option, the idealized way, I guess. So it seems like I can't remember. It's been ages since I played the game, but I'm pretty sure if you pick the it's worse than Mass Effect 2 because it doesn't give you Mass Effect 3 because it doesn't give you the three options. It just gives you the two.
Mm.
You get, I guess, positive and negative, and that's it as a choice. So I can't even tell you what the choice would be, actually, now that I think about it. I presume there's something more, what do you call it, less nihilistic you can say to her if you pick the more positive option, but I'm not 100%. It's been ages since I played it, so...
Well, let's actually think about Mass Effect 2's ending. It was logical, as stupid as it was actually logical. Like, your choices actually had an impact that you could see, as bizarre as they were. At least it had an impact. With Mass Effect 3, we don't exactly know what our EMS values mean, aside from hitting a threshold, and now you could open up the blue ending. Okay, great. What does that mean? We still don't know. But yeah, the Paragon would probably choose not to destroy the shit out of everyone and just sort of, gently coerce them into their God, Emperor, Shepherd mentality, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Or some other better solution, but the game doesn't give us that, sadly. So.
Yeah, you have more options in the blue ending than you do with the red ending. It's just say that.
Sorry,
I guess.
Oh, like that! Imagine that as a pilot on the Crucible, and he's actually got like 3 crayons. And if you get like bad endings, he like knocks 2 crayons off, and he's only got 1 crayon left. Like that's all what you get. It's like that's his job to color in the Crucible.
Oh yes, the Crucible. What a wonderful idea in this story.
She would make exactly the same argument that I'm making now if she was placed in Shepard's position. This ending is perfect because it hits you with the central thematic point of the entire Mass Effect trilogy, and that is that the hardest choice is when there is no choice.
I guess that was what we were saying earlier, but it's kind of hard how he just segues into this immediately.
Then why have a game based around choice and consequence if there is no choice? Like,
I was about to say.
Yeah, we built this game on choice and consequence. There is no choice. But, okay. Good job, BioWare.
Yeah, I mean, in a meta sense, I think we're all somewhat aware of that, but the game being sold on your choices mattering, suddenly to turn around and say, nope, not a chance. It's like, why?
Yeah, welcome to linearity world right now. We've changed.
Like, even the big choice in Mass Effect 1 still had some impact. That whole, you're a leader, you've got to make a hard choice. When we all know the, one in Mass Effect 1. That still at least had some impact on the world. So,
well, he does have a point with the Rachni, as we talked about before. But let's compare that to Mass Effect 1, where you choose between stopping the bomb or whatever's going off, whoever you send out, Caden or Ashley. Yeah, the effect is still the same. You still save the day, but you just lost a friend. And that was a choice of who lives and who dies. And that was certainly a choice you can make. And you could have made it because maybe you romanced one of them. Maybe you liked one better than the other. You had that freedom of choice. So that was a clear choice. And yes, the result of your choices didn't change much in the grand scheme, but it meant the value of that choice meant a lot more than it did with the ending choice of Mass Effect 3, because there was no value. There was no, like, okay, Edie dies. Why? How? When? Is that good? Is that bad? Well, I don't like Edie dying, but did I save everyone? We're not sure. The epilogue said we did. How? How did they live? Yeah, we got a speech from Hackett. That was something. That was better than nothing. We saw a Joker get out of the Normandy alone. Kind of sad.
He talks about how sacrifice is like a key thing, but yet Mass Effect 2 and 3 actually prove this wrong when you actually play the game. It's like you can resolve the the crew conflicts and have both sides equalize. You can solve the Krogan and cure the Krogan, the genophage. Sorry, you can solve the Rannoch problem. The game's telling you that you can solve the problem.
Yeah.
There is no need for sacrifice. The only time that
Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2, you can literally defy the odds and say this is not a suicide mission. You can do this shit.
Everyone lives.
Yeah.
Like,
And Mass Effect 3 with the Quarians and Geth, you can go for the super idealized option of getting them to reconcile, which was awesome. When I played that, I was like, damn, this actually paid off all my stuff since the first game. Hey.
So I think we could say that his initial premise of choices don't have... The hardest choice is not... There's only one choice to make. It's the hardest one to make. I think we could throw that out the door, okay?
Leaders in positions like this, as their stress and tension and responsibilities increase, don't have the luxury to behave like Captain Kirk figures smugly cruising through life as everything goes well around them. Shepard doesn't have the luxury of taking a census to check if everybody under her command is happy to sacrifice themselves or not. The game forces you to put yourself in the position that Shepard is in. She has to choose whether to...
Well, yeah, you play as Shepard, so that's kind of the point, but okay.
Sacrifice a few billion Geth and EDI in order to save not only the billions upon billions of people currently living in the galaxy, but the quadrillions of people that would die and be enslaved by the Reapers in future cycles if they're not stopped now.
Or you choose control and you become God Emperor of the goddamn galaxy, and then what? Everyone lives, right? Supposedly.
Well, there's actually something that I would like to point out. This is me basically being a bit geeky, so I do apologize. But if, let's say, you have the destroy ending, it's talking about destroy engine, the only option, right? How do we repair the mass relays? We don't know what they're made of. We don't know how they're built or constructed. And even if they are only minorly damaged, mass relays require a two-way connection. You need one on the other end. So if people are stuck, so all these relays are all broken up in different pieces, and if no one's there to repair them, even if they did know how to repair them, if no one's there to repair them, then how can you... So basically galactic... mobility and communication is still crippled across the entire galaxy. Doesn't solve anything.
It's just that we don't know the timescale of how long it takes to actually fix the relays.
Yeah, you just see them point together. It's like you don't know how this thing was built. Like it was only the Protheans that actually were on the cusp of unlocking mass relay technology. It's like, wouldn't that be kind of something to research on? Nope. Okay.
And then we're stuck with all the problems of all the forces out at Earth, or at least in our solar system, that we have to feed. We have to then figure out what they have to do to live and repurpose themselves.
The Quarians and the Turians would die quickly because they wouldn't be able to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another big thing that got brought up when the game first came out. Everyone was like, wait, this mass military force is stranded on Earth. What are they going to eat?
Yeah,
Their rations won't last forever. Yeah.
I'm just reading the comments here. It's like, yeah, Power Core 2000 says it's right. By his logic, control is just the outright correct outcome. Yeah, if you want less death and the future Reapers not to hurt you, control is the way to go.
I guess.
Yeah. It's just a galactic police state now.
Like, I hate the ending for that reason, that you just become this ultimate authority figure. It's just such an antithesis to everything that Mass Effect was about, but okay.
But this actually, the control ending actually solves something very simple. Let's say you don't want people to build evil robots that are going to kill everyone. Well, if the Reapers hold the Citadel and through the mass relays because they can control it, why don't they just patrol around and just kind of go, are you guys building synthetic evil robots? Good. And then they just fly away again. It's like you don't need the cycle of destruction. You don't need to wipe everyone out every 50,000 years.
You have your super duper cybernetic police just walk around every 100 years going, what's over there? Nothing. Okay.
You guys didn't break any windows? I'm watching you, human.
Oh, you're making an app on your phone. Is it talking to you yet? Nope, that's good. That's all they have to do, really.
Across the previous 5 cycles before the one that we're currently experiencing in the games, entire galaxies of people have died to build and preserve the Crucible device for our cycle to use. If we choose not to use that in the refusal option, or to use it in a way that does not destroy the Reapers as it was intended, then everything that all of those previous cycles died to do was completely in vain, and we're dooming dozens.
How do we know what the Crucible does? We never get told what the Crucible does. It is explicitly told we don't know what it does. Did he play the game? He didn't.
Yes, but the Star Child knows exactly what it does, so much that it gives us options on how to use it. It's like a flashlight with different beams of light. You just have to find the right dial. But he can't press the button. We have to press the button. So it's a two-way street. He has to help us out. We help him out.
It's not only that, it's like, how do we know the intentions of the people who were designing it all through the ages as well? He seems to think that we do know the intentions when it's never made clear what the intentions are, because we don't even know what it does, because even the previous cycles didn't know what it did.
Well, I think the guys who made the giant spherical shield around the microphone part, I think they at least knew what they were doing. They were like, oh, we need a big ball around this smaller ball because protection, right?
That's what the propeller's for.
Oh,
waft
yeah.
away the Reapers. It's like, no, bad Reaper. Bad Reaper. And he just swats them away like a cow has its tail to swat away flies.
Yeah, we need a propeller on this thing. Sir, why? Well, clearly it's a top and it's spinning. You need a propeller. Like, wait, what? What do you...
The biggest problem that I have with the Crucible is that every civilization was basically forced to extinction, and in their final moments, they decided to invest everything into something they did not know how to use or what even.
That they couldn't use, yeah, because they're all cut off on the mass relays, so they couldn't build it.
It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a doomsday. Like, what do you do in your final days if you know everything you've ever known and all of existence is going to be destroyed? You think, okay, we gotta preserve, we gotta tell people what's going on, or we're going to try and make a super weapon. We don't know how it works. We don't know how the scope of the thing is going to be. We don't know what it's going to do. Like, what do you do? And apparently some of the races over the years, over the billions of years, thought, okay, other people had this same idea. They're a bit crazy. They didn't know exactly what they were doing, but neither do we. So we're going to keep doing that.
That's the biggest problem. Like, every single cycle built upon it. None of them asked why. They just kept doing it for some reason.
Well, that's just, well, if you can contrast it with the ending to, well, sort of ending to Mass Effect 1, as Mudboy was saying, it's like preservation. Like, you could understand Vigil's aims and the people on Ilos more so than you can understand the aims of trying to build this giant Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, like that's what the refusal ending is so tragic and beautiful, even though it's really, that's not the ending anyone wanted. But, I think they just made the ending that way because everyone just kept shooting the goddamn Star Child. At the end, they said, okay, as soon as you shoot him, he'll just go straight to the refusal ending without actually going through the dialogue options of saying goodbye. I don't want to take part in this, which to me is really just all the fans saying, screw you, BioWare, this is garbage. You didn't fix a goddamn thing. You made it worse. And I could argue that that's the best ending just because of the meta value of that.
So I have an issue with the Crucible actually like surviving all these ages because of how the Reaper cycle actually works. Because if you remember Vigil, what he states, he kind of goes, right, everything was cut off, communication and transportation was cut off, so basically every system was isolated. So how would these isolated systems know what the Reapers were, what their intention was, and why would they build a giant? It's like, so we have no idea what's going on. We don't know what's out there, but we're going to build a big giant super weapon because reasons. We're bored,
Yeah, but the Reapers were aware of this, and they didn't care.
Yeah.
They were like, oh yeah, we knew we were making this thing, but we didn't. They didn't even know what it was either, apparently. Because if they did, they would have been just as shocked as Starchild was. Like, oh, you changed things. Like, oh. So that means the most sophisticated intelligence in the galaxy didn't know what this mysterious object purpose and point was until it arrived on their doorstep. Does that make sense?
I could just imagine like the Reaper fleet looking at like the Crucible walking around and like, what the hell is that? Like they're just stunned. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Is that a weapon? Going? No, it's not a weapon, sir. What is it? It's a giant kaleidoscope. I don't know. It's kind of cool. What is it?
Like all these things going like, okay, this is weird.
This is new. Have you guys ever seen this? Maybe like 20 billion years ago, sir. We don't remember. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. That's possible.
It's got a propeller on it in space. Maybe that's what the Crucible could have been. Just like a big, massive distraction just to confuse the Reapers so everyone can get a shot at them. What the hell is that?
You mean when Riker fought Picard when he was Locutus of Borg and he started just shooting fireworks at the Borg cube?
The antimatter. Yeah.
It's like, what the hell's going on? I don't know. So that's what we were missing. We were missing Star Trek, and as the years went by, as the games came out, it became less Star Trek and more Star Wars, super weapons and big robots, and yeah.
But not even in a good way. Like just the most dumb schlocky part of Star Wars.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
More cycles in future to die in the same way. Don't misunderstand me, it's a terrible shame that the Geth and Edie have to be sacrificed in order to win, but if you've been playing this game to improve the rights and consideration of synthetic life in the galaxy, then you have to accept that those synthetic beings are held to the same standard to fight and sacrifice themselves in order to save the galaxy from the Reapers as any organic in the same situation would.
Wait a second. Can we make everyone a biosynthetic with synthesis? So we are now increasing the number of existences out there and giving them rights. If I don't know if plants are now sentient or whatever the hell that means. I mean, we are making better lives, technically, or more lives. Maybe they'll just commit suicide, but at least they have the option. We're giving them the freedom to kill themselves, right? That's still better than just being a non-sentient plant. I mean, I'm just trying to take his argument as far as I can take it. I'm just like, this is kind of crazy. They want more lives to be saved, so you are technically... You are
just makes my brain hurt.
It does hurt. It does hurt. I'm with you there. But based on his argument, we are making life better in some way and giving those people or those new creations more rights, more freedoms.
It's quite funny because he talks about, sacrifice is necessary, the Gethers being, but it's like, right, everyone in Mass Effect 3 in the war is sacrificing themselves. Earth got abandoned, Palvin got abandoned, Fessia got abandoned, all the major the Batarians pretty much all got wiped out, the Elcor got wiped out almost. Everybody is sacrificing something. It's like, you can't just use that kind of, they need to die out completely. Like, everybody's dying here. People, what's the death toll at now? 1 billion? A couple of trillion, sorry. It's like, we just need a couple of billion more. That'll even out the scales a little bit. There we go. We've reached peak now.
But guys, we got to save her.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Shepard's like, oh, wait, I haven't paid off that condo yet.
Oh. All right, let's keep going.
Granting them special protection at the expense of everybody else is something that even they would think was unreasonable. Choices like this are the hallmarks of the Mass Effect story, and it should be no surprise to any...
Didn't he just say that choices are kind of irrelevant?
What happened to there is no choice?
Yeah, so the hallmark of Mass Effect is pointlessness? Like, what is he saying? Oh my God! You're telling me this game is garbage? There's no point to it.
But his video says it's perfect.
It's the hardest thing to do. The pointlessness of choice is the hardest thing to do, and it's the perfect choice.
It's like the most ultimate postmodern argument. You see, the perfect choice is that there is no choice. That is why it is.
I ran out of cigarettes. Oh shit!
It's like extreme fatalism. It's like
oh, it's funny, but he's taking this seriously, so we got to do the same.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, straight faces, guys. Straight faces. Super serious.
One that the ending of the series was a similar such no-win scenario. Anybody who was expecting Return of the Jedi was out of their mind. There was no
What?
Anyone expects Jedi was out of their mind? No.
Well, that's a straw man argument in terms of you just wanted a happy ending. It's like I was like in my Dragon Age Origins playthrough, my warden died. A lot of people died. I was fully expecting the Crucible to basically be a big giant nuclear bomb that basically just destroys the entire solar system. I mean, it did technically in one ending, but, but you know, I was fully expecting that fleet to be a kind of right. This is a suicide mission. It's one last ditch effort to wipe them out. We're going to trap them and we're going to detonate it, and it's going to wipe them all out for future generations to come. I was expecting that. Boy, was I wrong.
To be quite frank, what I was expecting was the whole thing to be a trap. The Crucible device wouldn't do anything. It was just something the Reapers left in order to weaken the military.
I think that was an idea that was posited by Arching Gaia way back when, that it was just another Reaper trap, and that makes a lot more sense than what we got.
Yeah.
It makes sense because it would punish the stupidity of a military organization to focus all of their resources on something they don't understand.
Yeah, that's right. They let it down.
That's my main problem. I mean, all of these factions, all of these species are on their last desperate attempt to survive. And what they do, they invest all of their resources into something that might or might not work, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's not as simple as like the prisoner's dilemma where you have options of 1 year or 2 years or 0 years. This is like, no. Everything is gone. And if you don't make reprimands or do some sort of time capsule or something, no one's ever going to know.
Maybe that's what it is. Because you think about it, it's like it's given everyone. If you choose the synthesis ending, it's all about organics and synthetics will understand one another. It's basically one big giant Wikipedia.
It would actually make more sense when you think about it, like do something like a super vigil.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rationalize that with what UDP just said, and I'm like, ugh.
It's a big giant info dump, and everyone goes, "What?"
We need more data cores to store all our information.
We need more additional pylons.
Oh, I don't know. It's too silly to even. Soylent Green is everyone. Yay. Okay. I think yeah, so we can agree that we were not expecting the ending to The Empire Strikes Back. That's true. Okay.
Sure.
Decision that saved both Ashley and Caden. There was no decision to save both Tally and Legion. And if they're...
Now, what if there was actually an option to save Tally? Like, what if her race is getting destroyed, and you save her? Well, she would be destroyed. Like, she herself would be distraught, like totally useless. That would be really interesting.
It would, yeah, because she'd be almost a different character. Like, just her whole mental state would be completely different. Like, I'm the last of my species, essentially. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'd put her on the Kanjavic plane of things.
Would she... exactly. That's great. That'd be fantastic. Her and Javik would sit together and just, like... Javik would obviously tear her a new one, but, that's what Javik does. But... would she care about what's going on? Would she love Shepard? Would she even like Shepard? Would she even want to be there? Would she try to commit suicide again? Would she actually do it again by herself when no one was looking? Like, that would be tragic, as opposed to just finishing her off like that.
Or would she try to kill Shepard, who directly caused this?
That would be very interesting. The same with Rex when he got pissed off.
Yep.
That would be fantastic. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that it would be more. There would be more to the story. There would be more to it. So the fact that there isn't that choice doesn't necessarily mean it's a good or bad thing. It's just that there was more opportunity if you did in fact save her for whatever reason or however that worked.
had been, it would have lessened the story as a result, because it would have undermined the central theme of Shepard's narrative. It is perfectly...
Wait, why would it do that? If we gave her the option to save Tally, it would that would mean that you would have authority over your choices, and your choices actually have value, even if they're not good choices. So you're in a bad situation, and you save someone's life. They're still distraught. They still want to kill themselves, but you save them anyway. How would that be against the theme of Shepard's making choices? I don't quite grasp it.
I'm not sure what to make of that, to be honest.
Appropriate that the ending of the entire trilogy works this way. It holds you to the mark and forces you to choose to sacrifice people who you don't want to sacrifice in order to save the greater number of people in the end.
Yeah, but you don't have to sacrifice anyone in Control or Synthesis, right?
Yeah. Correct.
But he's hell-bent on Destroy being the best choice, therefore you must kill people. What?
It wasn't like I'm trying to think now. Like when you see a general, and let's say he's got like an army coming towards him, and you have to make the choice of which regiment to the Dunkirk operation, whereby there had to be a number of soldiers left behind to hold the rear guard so that everyone else would come back. That would make it more decisions. Like, right, Legion, you're the Geth. You have to hold this line. I'm sorry, but there's no one else who I could trust to actually do this rear guard operation. That would have actually given more. And the Geth would kind of go, yep, click, click, yes, sir. And he'd go off and willingly die for you. That's an impactful choice rather than just, you're dead now. Good luck.
Well, the whole point...
Yeah, we can conceptualize it. We can conceptualize those sorts of sacrifices, whereas with this one, it's like, we don't even know what any of these endings mean in a practical sense.
Well, if they actually understood what the endings meant, they probably would have told us. And it's a shame that the more interesting ones, which are Synthesis and Control, are so vague and so confusing that it seems as if the Stardock is like, well, the simpler one is obviously Destroy. Obviously, we can agree that that's the easiest one to understand because everything blows up, and depending on your EMS, it blows up smaller or blows up specifically. Whereas Control has lots of implications, especially Paragon or Renegade. Synthesis is a god, like who the hell knows what's going on there? But we can say that some things will probably commit suicide because they've become cybernetic or plants become whatever the hell that means. Who knows what plants to become? And yeah, they might end up killing themselves as a result. That's true. So...
Shepard's fish make the next evolution of synthetic life that destroys the previous level of synthetic. Unless you don't feed them.
They can feed themselves now. They can telepathically press the button. That's great. Oh, your hamster starts talking to you? Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
Oh, that head that you get, that husk head. It's like, hello, my name's Jim, actually, and now I can understand you. Ah!
Oh, thank goodness I never played that DLC. Oh.
Where to make you feel more comfortable about picking the other options, but really, the game knows just as well as any player knows that they are the wrong choice.
The game knows. Wait. It's sentient. It just knows.
Is that why destroy is the only option? You destroy the game.
Kill it with fire, quick! Before it gains consciousness and takes over your PlayStation.
I'm just picturing the game box like coming to life and just like latching onto or something staff.
Yeah.
We'll just take that as a throwaway, okay? We'll just let that slide.
Destroy is the only viable option. The only one that saves civilization in the form we've seen it across the 3 games and saves all future cycles from being tormented by the Reapers.
Except the part where it's low EMS and you literally kill billions of people.
Besides that,
aside from Control where you actually could speculate, you're alive. Maybe it could be a giant galactic dictatorship or a peacekeeping force. And then when you go green, I mean, you don't go back. I mean, that's it. That's a one-way street to God knows what. So suicide, maybe? Who knows? Possibly. Arguable.
No coincidence that both Control and Synthesis are representative of the ideologies of two of the major villains in the Mass Effect trilogy, Saren.
So what? So what's wrong with that? And let's just be clear about Saren. Saren, that was not his ideology. That was just a solution he came up with because that's all he had. He didn't think, hey, you know what would be really great? If I had a magical device that could turn everyone into a cyborg and we didn't all have to die.
Yeah, like that wasn't really a theme. That was just his personal, I guess, circumstances and his part of his art. Like, I never consider that whole, like, I can see the parallels where people are making, oh well, it's like Saren when he became more and more cybernetic, but that was just a personal thing. That wasn't a big theme for the series. At least I didn't see it as such, you know.
Well, he was actually saying that organics should have a usefulness to it. It doesn't mean like he's going to turn them into a cybernetic creation. It's just we need to make ourselves more aware to the machines rather than just simply being wiped out.
Yes.
For Synthesis and the Elusive Man for Control. These are two people who tried to find other ways out of the Reaper situation and were both indoctrinated and ultimately fell under the Reaper's control.
Okay, but then why are the Reapers allowing us all these options?
Yeah, when these other two bozos off themselves.
It's like, hey, Shepard, we like you because, and yeah, you can do all those things that those other guys wanted to do.
Well, you're the protagonist's son, so we're going to let you decide.
That's pretty much, yeah.
Shepard, you are the chosen one. Well, I've got special powers. Yes, you have control over the dialogue. It's like, you know how Raziel in the Soul Reaver stories is the only one with free, and everyone's trying to convince him. It's like that's actually what's happening with Shepard, but with the dialogue wheel. It's the writers fighting over the dialogue wheel.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into the Elusive Man. That's a whole can of worms of itself.
He could not control us because we would control him. I was like, okay.
So let's say that well, I'm not being controlled then, dickhead.
Then what's the point of being? It's like, okay, so he has the control, but you're controlling him. So who's holding the wheel? Both of you? Does that make any like?
Doesn't that undermine the control ending though? And if they're controlling him, doesn't that mean the Reapers are controlling us by making us think that we're controlling the Reapers?
It makes the whole process irrelevant. It's like, okay, so let's say Elusive Man goes up to the controls and he holds the damn things. So what was the point of the Crucible? So you share, like, is like his consciousness shared with the catalyst? Is this like a two-way street now? Are there two minds operating there? Like, it's like, oh.
Yeah, the control engine doesn't actually need the Crucible because if it's all just Wi-Fi, because if the catalyst controls the Reapers, you don't need the Crucible to release the energy. It's like, okay, you got a couple of Duracell batteries.
And if the issue is we need someone else in control, say, okay, I have this thing called an Omni tool, and I can call you at any time. And if I'm in charge, I want you to do everything I say. Can you do that? Oh, okay. Okay, great. First mission. See that star? I want you to launch yourself into that star. Great, let's do it. Done. I mean, they could have done so many things if they wanted someone in control or to be in control. And nothing stopping Paragon or Renegade Shepard from doing that exact same thing. Yeah.
Maybe rebuilding the galaxy a bit while you're at it, then off yourselves to the star. I don't know. Yeah.
Fix everything. Okay, we're done. Bye.
Destroying the Reapers is the only choice. And even if it meant sacrificing all of the people of the galaxy in our current cycle, not just the Geth, in order to save future cycles from the same fate, it would be worthwhile. It's a
Wow. Okay. We're going to nuke the galaxy. So the Reapers never come back. It's worth it. Okay. That's pretty extreme. I mean, that's like beyond Churchill level, you know. How do we fight the enemy? Well, everywhere, in all places, we eradicate it, including ourselves, if needs be. Okay, buddy.
It kind of just seems like if you're going to go to that extreme, just take the control ending and order them to off themselves at that point. Like, that's the same result, but with less collateral damage. I don't know.
We're trying to save people, right? Let's sacrifice 1 billion people.
No, not 1 billion. Everything.
Yeah.
That way they'll never survive because they won't be out in dark space. They're all just here in this one galaxy. There's no possibility of there being more of them outside of this galaxy. They don't just live for billions of years sleeping else in dark space. No. It's just here.
That'd be hilarious.
I can only assume the gentleman doing this video is like presuming that this is what a high EMS destroy. Is that what he's been doing so far, or
it's not just that? It's ideal conditions, like if all the Reapers are here and you have absolute control over the beams, and the destroy hits everything. Yeah. Say Darth Maurok says LMO control ending is least trash, still trash though. Yeah, they're all bad.
Oh yeah. Control is a horrible ending. It just has a lot more potential than the others, I guess I could want to say. Like they could have done something better with it, way better with it, if they wanted to keep these 3 dumb endings.
Yeah, I do remember. It wasn't Jennifer Hale. It was Mark Meir. He says he actually really liked the Paragon control ending just because the speech he gave and what it meant, and in a certain light, yeah, you can see how that could be a good thing. But then you're still talking about a galactic peacekeeping force that is constantly overlooking you like a big brother. We just don't know the extent of that oversight. We don't know how much they're observing the galaxy.
Yeah, and I always feel like the idea of Shepard ascending to this weird god figure is really creepy and unsettling. So it always made me shiver when I thought about it. I was like, no.
It would have been a great basis for a canon ending for a sequel, though.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I guess when you become a godlike figure like that, you could kind of do mostly what you want. So he could still run around on foot doing stuff if he wanted to, like in future follow-up game. But I don't know. He could take whatever form he wants or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of things they could have done, really.
Terrible decision for Shepard to have to make, but playing as someone who has to make hard decisions like that is the entire message of Mass Effect.
The hard decisions of one choice every time, because there's only one choice. It's always perfect.
Oof.
Commanding a starship, commanding a navy,
He didn't command a navy.
I was going to say, Shepard never really commanded anything beyond one ship, as far as I remember. Besides a few very specific things where he's like, Quarian fleet, target this Reaper on my mark and all that. But even that was kind of above his pay grade to be doing. But you're the protagonist, so you get to do that.
Yeah, it would be nice to kind of like point things out of Reaper soft spot locations. Like that's what Shepard should be doing. But hey, Mass Effect 2, stop the collectors, right? Don't bother trying to stop the bad guys. We'll figure out ways to stop them.
That sounds like what is that movie with Picard where he knows where to attack the Borg because he was Borg? Like something like that.
First Contact.
Was it First Contact? Yeah. Something along those lines where he has some inside information, but again, Shepard never learned anything.
That could have actually been Tim's role. Like he shouldn't have been an antagonist. He should have been like, right, I've kind of done these experiments on myself to kind of learn more about it. And he kind of got that. You've got this potential ally that could be, turn into an enemy within your midst. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah, he went to he would be the kind of guy to do that, and he was, but for bizarre, insane reasons, as opposed to, I'm going to blow the crap out of these guys. I'm going to become one of them, learn about them, and figure out their weaknesses. Yeah, that would have been great. Instead, we got Thanix missiles.
Ah, Jesus.
Superheated metal missiles. What?
Meta missiles.
Slight tangent, but it would have been kind of neat that in Mass Effect 3 they'd expanded on the idea and had like, Shepard, you've been promoted. You're commanding this small fleet now, and send the fleet off to do things. Now, whether that would actually be meaningful to the plot or not, I guess, is up for debate, but it might have been interesting to mix up the series' gameplay a bit, But I guess that would have been really intensive production-wise to craft all those new systems and stuff. But
Not really. It would just be a little. The thing about it is that they need to they need to actually have like a proper plan for a so-called planned trilogy on what they're going to do, and they clearly were just kind of going, yeah, they're just winging
figuring
it.
out mistakes time. Just that would have been maybe a neat thing for the final game. Just you're more of a strategic commander than an always on the boots on the ground guy all the time. There would have still been missions like that, obviously, for the personal stuff, but it might have been something could have done. I guess what I'm trying to say is do more of what Inquisition tried to do, but not like Inquisition.
Yeah, they could have just said, like, here's a bunch of cards. How do you want to deploy these forces across the galaxy? Blah, blah, blah. And that reinforces them in some way, shape, or form. Prevents Reaper forces from destroying those sectors or something like that.
Well, at least giving you the feel you were doing something.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be major. That's just like a little simple card game that someone could have made in like 2 weeks.
Leader of nations is a more emotionally challenging task, requiring a greater strength of character than most science fiction and most science fantasy in particular portrays it to be.
That was a weird cut.
Okay.
Whoa, let's not bring the entire history of science fiction on this man's library. So let's just say he's wrong. And
John Sheridan much?
I was about to say.
Benjamin Sisko, you know? People that were kind of influential about making these big grand plans to stop the big bad enemies, just...
Yeah, as you said, John Sheridan, Babylon 5 is probably the best TV example of galaxy-changing events. There was no option to say get the hell out of our galaxy, which is essentially what we wanted, or what I was alluding to when I say go off into the sun. It's just go away, just take it off, leave us alone. We don't want this conflict, right?
Yeah, that could have been a brilliant. If the ending, let's say, wasn't like stupid and written by like morons, they could have just said like the Crucible is like basically a big nuke, and Shepard holds the Reapers hostage. It's like, yeah, you want to try and save us and whatnot, but you're doing this thing that's harming us, and I've got this button that's going to kill us all. And it's like
simple.
Yeah.
So, see how simple that was? You just made the entire ending basic, understandable, cognizant of what's going on, and saying, "Listen, buddy, we don't want you. Please go away." That's it.
Basically, you hold everyone to hostage because it's like, listen, we'd rather. This is what Shepard says in Mass Effect 1. He says, "I'd rather die than be a slave." So in other words, Shepard's like, you know what? You want to try and rule over the galaxy? Well, guess what? There's going to be no galaxy left. I'm going to end it right now.
It matches the theme. It deals with the dialogue options, which is pretty much what Mass Effect mostly is about, dialogue and making choices and showing that Shepard is really good at talking to people, which you've developed over the games. This would be totally consistent. It would be thematically consistent. Gameplay, I mean, that would work.
Yep. 5 way folks do that.
This is what ends up happening when UDP and I end up chatting like in the middle of the morning or whatever. It's like, oh, we just solved Mass Effect's problems again. It's like, just do this. It's like, oh, yeah, that would work.
Character like James Holden from The Expanse, or James Kirk from Star Trek, somebody who allows idealism to overrule pragmatism, was faced with this choice. They would undoubtedly choose refusal or something to that effect, and as the trilogy makes a...
Not necessarily.
What?
I mean, if you know anything about those characters, Holden would probably choose, like he'd want to eradicate the Reapers or get rid of them. Very similar to the, was that Particle he's always been trying to destroy? Like he would seek the most basic method, save as many lives as possible, and he would probably choose control or destroy, one of those two. He wouldn't go for that crazy, like he would totally avoid synthesis. He would totally avoid refusal. Like he would do something. Kirk would sacrifice himself. Kirk would, like, that's just the kind of guy he would. So obviously he'd try to save as many lives, but Kirk is not as brash as I don't think as we've seen him over the years, or people think he is. he seems to be rather practical, and he makes the choice between logic and emotion, like between Spock and McCoy. They're sort of like his two buddies telling him what to do, and he sort of figures out the diplomatic approach. Obviously not as diplomatic as like Picard, but that, you know, he's a Starfleet officer. He actually does believe in the rules, even though he has to break them at times. So,
he's the wild card solution to a lot of these things.
yeah, like he's not as brash as like Jonathan Archer was, if you want to go to the entire Enterprise series. But Archer was kind of like trying to be the prototype for Kirk, and Kirk was like the man. So yeah, it's kind of hard to do a prelim story of a story that already exists, and they are the prototype. So I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a hard thing to say, but
But his argument doesn't make sense because Paragon Shepard, from what I recall, wasn't a practical person. Oftentimes the decisions he made were made with hope in mind, and oftentimes the consequences could have been very bad, with the Rachni and the Krogan as an example.
True.
yeah, they were diplomatic choices. They were not. Let's do everything for everyone. It's just like, no, we talked it out, and this is what we've come up with. As opposed to Renegade, which says, listen, we're going to do this, get out of my way. Which is what Destroy essentially is, just blow the crap. I'm going to kill the Reapers. Anything in my way is gone, which is essentially what this guy is advocating for.
Abundantly clear, it would have resulted in disaster. It's the same message we see in Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, where Kirk has to learn that there is such thing as a no-win scenario. You can't always...
So Kirk knows that Kirk would pick refusal, but he's learned the lesson of that there is a no-win scenario. It's like, what?
Well, actually, Spock actually saved the day, so
Yes.
that was a win scenario. Outside of his control, he knew what had to be done, and Spock did it. So I'm not sure if that was the best example.
So there's context in the Wrath of Khan as to why that sacrifice has to be made, whereas in this one we don't have any context.
Yeah, we don't know the stakes. We don't know exactly what they're doing. Oh God, Darth Mamak, another super chat. Any thoughts on Mass Effect Happy Ending mod or the MEM or MEHEM? I haven't done it. I've seen so many playthroughs of it. Yes, it is technically better, but that's because it removes a lot, not because it adds a lot. So
Yeah, I quite enjoy it whenever I do replay Mass Effect, simply because it means my brain doesn't have to suffer what we got from the devs.
The aneurysm.
Yeah, I recommend it, honestly. It's very abrupt, like it pretty much just cuts away everything and just gives you a kind of put together cutscene that gives you all the feels. It's very, cliche and idealistic, but if you want that, go ahead. I'd recommend playing that on another playthrough if you ever feel like you want to do that. Sure. It's not particularly in depth, but it's something, I guess. I'm glad it exists. So, and someone put the time to making it.
reprogram the Kobayashi Maru, and after 3 games of build-up, slowly impressing this theme on the players across hours and hours of gameplay, it shouldn't surprise anyone that the ultimate no-win scenario was the final decision. And even
the theme of choice, having no choices that are perfect, and the hardest choices to make. He must be playing a different game than us.
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
I think he must be playing the 2011 build of Mass Effect for not the 2012 version that way everyone else got.
Even if you disagree with me about Destroy being the best option, and I'm sure there's much debate happening in the comments below this video already, but the argument I would make is that the very existence of that debate vindicates this ending. The fact that it
Vindicate? What? Do you know what that word means?
I don't think he does. Jeez.
Sorry, I missed that.
Because
What did
there's
you say?
debate. Because there's debate on the ending. Therefore, the ending's great. The ending has no problems. Any flaws it has been resolved.
No.
Lots of speculation from everyone. To quote Mac the Hack Walters.
God, yeah.
This is why we're still talking about it. Is because it has not been cleaned up. Is because BioWare has not done its job. And why Andromeda was a ridiculous attempt, and why the extended cut was just a band-aid solution that never healed. Why Leviathan was let's have another Deus Ex solution to solve the previous two Deus Ex. It's why Citadel came about, because they wanted people to be happy and they didn't know how to do it, so they literally gave them a party that everyone just have a good time.
Yeah, it's the Chernobyl of storytelling. Like this, unless you actually clean up the radiation, it ain't going. And it's going to be inhospitable for the next 200,000 years. Good luck. 20,000, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. Obviously, he loves the game. Obviously, he loves the ending and loves Destroy. I'm surprised he hated the other two endings for reasonable reasons. Fine. But to not look at the whole thing and say, listen, dude, there's flaws everywhere. There are problems with this narrative. Your choices mean nothing. You yourself are telling us our choices mean nothing, but you're happy with that because that's a theme which it never was. And it's like saying, oh, I love Mass Effect except for the choices. Those just they just got in the way of the fun story and epic gameplay. It's like, no, dude, you got that backwards. The choices are what made Mass Effect special. The dialogue wheel, the voice acted lip syncing, the relationships, all the little side stories. That's what made those optional things you could do, making an RPG even bigger and more personal. And to take that away is not the hallmark. It is not a good thing. That would deflate everything. That would turn this into a mediocre piece of media, or a mediocre third-person cover shooter. Like what would you call that after this point?
I would call it a below average third person shooter. But actually, when you boot up Mass Effect 3, there's three options that you have. You've got role playing, regular, and then you've got action mode, which basically there's no dialogue options. It's just like a linear story.
Really?
Yeah. So he's probably playing on it like that.
That would explain a lot of things. I didn't even know that mode existed. I thought there was story mode, where everything's simple.
Yeah, story mode is more about you focusing on the dialogue choices, and it's less about the combat. And then you have action mode, which is less about the story. That's predetermined, and it focuses more on the combat, so it gets you more into the combat.
Who the hell wants action mode? Who is that for?
The reason why is because I actually probably get a quote here, but they did actually say that, or BioWare did state that they wanted Call of Duty's audience. That's why they were marketing it.
Oh boy.
That was actually one of the quotes from the developers, major developers.
I remember all of this very clearly.
Yep. So yeah, that's why the idea of multiplayer. That's why you look at the just the marketing of it. You know, you see Shepard like looking angry, like, "Oh, I need to do a poo, and I can't because I'm above Earth." He's doing that stance, you know, that very like singular man stance or woman stance if it's Fem Shep, obviously.
And then he pulls out his Omniblade for no reason.
Yeah, because that's a very kind of macho military. I mean, the fact that they got rid of Shepard's Spectre status, because like he's an Alliance Marine. Spectre, it was a Spectre. God damn it, he doesn't work for the Alliance anymore. He works for the goddamn Council. Do you people not play your own games?
Oh no, but he turned himself into the Alliance at the ending of
not the Council, even though he's a Spectre. You remember Siren and the Council, and we had that massive debate about why we can't prosecute Spectres.
And then he was there for 6 months under supervision of whatever his name was, Gorilla Boy. And he had no communication. He just sat in his room doing sit-ups forever, and just
Oh, I don't know. Maybe him dying and being brought back to life cancelled his Spectre status.
Yeah, he got invalidated. Like, sorry, your Spectre card is no longer valid. Oh,
Okay. I don't think there's
sorry,
anything
yeah.
left of this video, but if you guys want to go through the indoctrination theory,
I need to bounce off actually. So
okay. This is a lot longer, and I don't know if you guys want to go through this because it's pretty painful. And I don't know if the guys in the chat want to go through this either because it's pretty painful. This is all around bad feeling, bad speculation. This is what happens when you have all sorts of fans that don't know what to make sense of their favorite franchise as it goes down the crapper. So if you guys are up for it, we can do it. If not, I have no problems cutting this short and saying good night and thanks for your time. And
I mean, I can't speak for the rest of you gentlemen. I don't mind going through at least, we could go through some of it. If it maybe drags on a bit, we could just then stop. But I don't know even if that's possible. So.
stop, my brain can't handle it.
we're going through the what is it?
How long is it?
It's like 20 minutes. It's the original one. It's the Acroveus or whatever the hell his name was.
We just spent an hour and a half on a 7-minute video, so that's why I'm bailing now, actually, because I've got family things downstairs. So I need to go.
Okay, guys. Thanks for your time, UDP. Have a great night.
Hi, have a good day, guys. Pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
So if any of you guys want to bail out, just chat to me, and no worries. But here we go. The joys of the indoctrination theory. The only time we'll be covering this, I hope. In this channel.
Right.
Cover it before having.
Reaper indoctrination is an insidious means of corrupting organic minds, reprogramming the brain through physical and psychological conditioning, using electromagnetic fields, infrasonic and ultrasonic noise, and other subliminal methods. The Reaper's resulting control over the limbic system leaves the victim highly susceptible to its suggestions. Organics undergoing indoctrination may complain of headaches and buzzing or ringing in their ears. As time passes, they have feelings of being watched and hallucinations of ghostly presences. Ultimately, the Reaper gains the ability to use the victim's body to amplify its signals, manifesting as alien voices in the mind. Reaper's suggestions can manipulate victims into betraying friends, trusting enemies, or viewing the Reaper itself with superstitious awe. Should a Reaper subvert a well-placed political or military leader, the resulting chaos can bring down nations. Long-term physical effects of the manipulation are unsustainable. Higher mental functioning decays. Rapid indoctrination is possible, but causes this decay in days or weeks. Slow, patient indoctrination allows the thrall to last for months or years.
Why are you doing this?
My way is the only way any of us will survive. I'm forging an alliance between us and the Reapers, between organics and machines. And in doing so, I will save more lives than have ever existed. Once I understood this, I joined Sovereign, though I was aware of the dangers. I've studied the effects of indoctrination. The more control Sovereign exerts, the less capable the subject becomes. Sovereign needs me. That is my saving grace. My mind is still my own, for now, but the transformation from ally to servant can be subtle. I will not let it happen to me. Sovereign recognizes your value. You've impressed it. Surrender to the Reapers, and you will be spared. Join us, and we can find a place for you.
Sovereign's manipulating you and you don't even know it. You're already under its power. You could have resisted. You could have fought. Instead, you surrendered. You quit. I'd rather die than live like that. Some part of you must still realize this is wrong. You can fight this!
Maybe you're right. Maybe there is still a chance for... Sovereign is too strong. I'm sorry. It is too late for me.
It's not over yet! You can still redeem yourself! There's still one way to stop this, if you've got the guts.
Shepard, thank you.
Let's just be fair about Mass Effect 1. Sovereign, or rather Saren killing himself is kind of an ass pull. It came out of nowhere. It's like, whoa, why?
Yeah.
How? Like, it just doesn't seem, it didn't match the tone. It didn't match the pacing. It felt off.
Yeah, when I've talked to people about this game back when I played it, pretty much most people had the same reaction. Like, they thought it was kind of cool, like, whoa, he kills himself, but it doesn't really fit the tone, like you said very well. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. So
Yeah. But
I'm not sure what they're going for with that. But
all we've just seen was like pure speculation of, indoctrination is this. The only thing we saw that was indoctrinated was Saren. All those other scenes, nothing to do with indoctrination, as far as I can tell, aside from Tim eventually being indoctrinated. That was it.
yeah, I think also, like UDP said, I don't really know if Saren believed in synthesis specifically.
No, he didn't. No, he was talking about cybernetics. He wasn't talking about, well, I don't think anyone could possibly be talking about synthesis. That's almost impossible. I mean,
it's a bit of a leap to say that, but
oh yeah.
You must be remarkably strong-willed, Commander.
Spectre. We do not know what happened in the war. We only heard discordance, songs the color of oily shadows. And their voices were silvered with fear. A tone from space hushed one voice after another. Fear has shattered their minds.
Every single system in the galaxy is paralyzed by fear. It needs symbols of hope.
And then there were 3.
It's easy to forget what we fight for. We have to believe that we can do something. We'll win. I promise.
You do not yet comprehend your place in the...
Okay, I don't know where he gets that Shepard's mind slowly begins to divide, or what that even means. Illustrated by nightmares?
Seems a bit of a stretch, yeah.
Having nightmares does not mean being indoctrinated. It just means you have nightmares.
It just means you have PTSD, pretty much. I mean, most people would, given the themes level, the setting of this game. So.
Yeah, the world's blowing up, or the galaxy's blowing up. So, yeah, okay.
I mean, that was what I interpreted the dreams as, just PTSD, and I was kind of thinking, besides the imagery of the child, which was dumb, I kind of liked the whole Shepard was having dreams in the third game. I kind of wish that was in the other games as well.
If there were, then we could definitely point to them as references, and maybe there's a course or a continuing theme throughout them, but that would still only amount to allegory. It still wouldn't actually apply or imply an empirical reality to the real, like the waking world. It would just be just within the dream world. Like maybe his Prothean visions or whatever were doing that. Who knows?
Because that's the problem with dreams. You can't really take much from them because they're dreams. Yeah.
They're dreams. They're not real.
Yeah.
And so what this is going to come down to is going to be the indoctrination theory versus something I said before, actually, in the other video. Bad writing, which is probably the answer to most things, or bad production values, or not enough production because there wasn't enough time or resources. So it's going to come down to those two things, if not IT.
They could have made this whole dream thing work somewhat if they, planned this trilogy out from start to finish as all 3 games.
Exactly. If it would take a different mindset for Casey Hudson to say, okay, you know what? I planned out the ending way back in 2008 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, and then he figured out how to get around the tight work schedule that video games take. And he says that solution is DLC. So I'm going to release DLC like he did in Mass Effect 2, like Lair of the Shadowbroker, like Arrival, that connect stories. Because obviously Mass Effect 2 didn't really do a goddamn thing in terms of pushing the plot along. So he did. So if this was his intention to have this, indoctrination crap, then he would eventually have to have a release schedule of at least one other DLC on top of the extended cut, or actually the extended cut, to show off more of the story, to continue the story, as it were. But because of the first ending message we got at the end, like when you finish the game before extended cut, before the patch, it was like, you can continue your Shepard's journey and future DLC and buy more DLC, yay. They got rid of that. They changed that, of course. Then it's like, oh, wait a second, that's not the right message. So to me means he wasn't planning anything. There was no future story change. There was no waking up DLC or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, definitely when they said, Shepard has become a legend and you can continue that legend with DLC.
Yeah, it's like oh, nope, that's done.
That's very final the way that sounds.
That's not mean they couldn't do a 180 on the extended cut. It doesn't mean they couldn't have done that, but they didn't.
It sounds like they didn't intend for that at all. You could infer from that message, at least.
Yeah, so there was, sure, we conceptualized of a certain director or producer going, okay, this is my intention. I don't have enough time and resources, but this is how I can do it. I could see that happening, but it very, very slim chance. Very hard to pull off. And the way it sounded as if it was only Casey and Mac doing the ending, and that's it. And unfortunately for them, as smart as they are, they could not have possibly, within a 3-month period, figured out how to write a story to clean up their mess and produce a fix to this, or a patch to this, if you want to say that.
Oh, yeah. Especially to get the whole team in together to do it, it's just a production nightmare, really.
Yeah, it would have been planned out from day one, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Take my hand.
You can't help me.
No, there's no proof of that.
Yeah. It's... I don't really know what to make of the kid. Like, I don't know what they were trying to say with it. Did it mean anything, or was it just a silly kind of... They are children.
There's nothing wrong with using the kid as a symbol, and that's done lots of times to represent their humanity, their fear, their problems. Like, I think that was one of the mentions, I can't remember his name, but he wanted the child to represent humanity in his dreams, and they see that picture of Shepard and the kid on fire, and you couldn't see a way out you couldn't find a solution to the war. This is all allegory. This is what you do with dreams and stories. You're allowing your audience to guess. So it makes sense that you can guess symbolically about things, not literally, oh, this is an actual thing because the lore says mind control.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. It feels like the indoctrination theory is its linchpin is basically this kid that Shepard can see, but like you said, we don't know that for certain. As it's presented here, that kid is real, and Shepard can see them, and anyone else there could see them as well.
Yeah, he casts shadow. There's light hitting him. He's affected by gravity. This is, my God, we're talking about the freaking Last Jedi with Luke as a hologram. How do holograms get affected by wind? He's there. He's physically there. Okay.
Shepard, in here.
Yes, the sound effect clearly means Shepard's indoctrinated. Of course. There's not just Reapers 2 kilometers all over the place making noises. It's clearly it's in his head.
Yeah. I mean, I agree it's used as an audio cue to signify that scene's transitioning or whatever, but it's a lot to infer to just be like, ooh, Indoctrination, secret things are going on, ooh. It's a bit of a leap.
If it's used a lot, if it's used as a pattern, then you can certainly make that argument, but again, there has to be a payoff. You can't just infer, and then nothing.
Yeah. There's no correlation between a thing as far as I've been able to watch. I'm starting to remember this video now because I think I watched this way back when all this was first coming out, about the ending and stuff before the extended cut, I think, video, which is going to be interesting as we go through, I'm sure.
Come to us. Embrace perfection.
That's just the animation budget of BioWare. They didn't think it was needed to show people noticing the kid.
Let's spend an actual minute of having a conversation with a kid that has no value.
Yeah. Like,
why? If
that's all you're using the kid for, then yeah, they wouldn't bother animating. You gotta bear in mind, BioWare does this a lot. They reuse animations for a lot of stuff. Again, that's not me being critical. Production's a hell of a thing on a video game, particularly these big budget ones. But it's a lot of inference to be like, oh well, they didn't show anyone noticing the kid. I think that's just a production thing.
Let's be clear. I don't mind the kid. There's nothing wrong with having a symbol for Shepard, but to imply that it's only he can see it, only he can hear it. It's all in his head. It's like
it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's like, okay, it's whatever. The loss of hope. What do you
willpower is a bit of an interesting word to use. How do you quantify someone's willpower?
And when you're talking about Shepard, he's a static brick, so he doesn't.
He has a lot of willpower, I presume.
He doesn't really waver.
Yeah.
In his
willpower. He barely emotes in a lot of these games, which isn't a slight on the actors. Again, I think it's just the way they wrote him, or her, I should say. Either
even
way,
Liara, as he showed us in this movie or this video, he must be very strong-willed, Commander. It's like, okay, fine, that's one of his traits, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he is a very, he or she is a very stoic character. That's fine, but it's just again more to infer.
Hope is irrelevant. You cannot escape your destiny, Shepard.
Whenever you receive a setback, indoctrination gets stronger. I don't know where that's coming from.
Again, more inference. Don't know what to do with that one, to be honest, folks.
I don't think that's in the lore. No, it's indoctrination happens over time, very slowly, and with when you're exposed to Reaper artifacts or Reapers. That's it. Doesn't get stronger because
feel bad.
Yeah. Like,
Do you hear that hum?
It's subtle at first.
I do not sense the taint.
Okay, so the Normandy is a Reaper artifact? Like what? What is he talking about?
I was gonna.
Like, so what?
I get. Yeah, Shepard's been near Reaper artifacts, actual Reapers. Actually, not even near actual Reapers most of the time. He only comes near one in the third game, really. So,
well, this point he's making right now, wouldn't Prothean VIs have detected signs of indoctrination near Shepard? Yes, they would have, and it would have happened on Thessia, which it didn't happen. But it did detect it from Kailang. So that moots every point prior to that scene.
Yeah, because they didn't detect it until Kailang shows up. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And he says not necessarily, especially in the early and subtle stages. Okay, So let's say everyone who has been anywhere near a Reaper artifact or a Reaper is slightly indoctrinated. Fine, but not to the point where it would be a problem or would ever cause them to be mentally controlled. Again, this takes long periods of time, like months, with constant exposure. And this is like maybe a few minutes exposure. We were in a Reaper in Mass Effect 2. We ran around that the Dead Reaper. That was.
Oh yeah, the Dead Reaper. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
That was definitely something. I think that's the best argument you can make. You can't make the argument of Arrival because that's optional. It's that's it. But all that is moot because when we get to Thessia, he wasn't indoctrinated.
Indoctrination upon any of you. Unlike the other that passed recently, perhaps there is still hope.
Thought I was strong enough to resist. Instead, I became a willing tool, eager to serve.
No, they're not, but they actually work.
Well, they have the tools and the software, or whatever you want to call it, to detect indoctrination, so...
Yeah, what do you think is more infallible, a machine or a person?
A person analyzing something, yeah.
I would put my faith in this century or 1,000-year-old machine whose main purpose is to preserve, the Prothean life and can detect indoctrination and turns itself off, the slight chance of that, then, whatever this theory is trying to say, it's like, oh, they're not infallible. Well, machines don't fail unless there's something wrong with them. So unless there's a block in their, degradation of their hardware,
or they've been taken over or something, weird like that.
Yeah, it's pretty much true or false. There's no problem here to believe
that's the whole reason we use computers in the first place, because they generally don't make mistakes as long as we've programmed the right way.
No, they don't make mistakes. They are always logical. When they fail, they were programmed to fail. I mean, we have failure states, we have success states. That's all they do. So when they detect something, that's it. It's either true or false. There's no middle ground.
No.
Indoctrinated presence detected. Activating security protocol.
The Alliance can't stop the Reapers. You're using Reaper tech.
This has nothing to do with the theory at all. He's just saying that those that are being controlled are doing this, and you're like, why?
Well, I mean, this is supposed to be about Shepard, not Cerberus.
Yeah, they're making a secondary point, which is to say that those that are being indoctrinated do this. It's like, okay.
So Cerberus is a big problem in the story because they almost keep getting rewritten every game. This is one thing I've noticed. First game, they're this kind of fringe, rogue alliance group. Second game, they're a humanitarian front kind of thing, like humanity first kind of thing, but they do subversive activities and stuff. Third game, they're a massive empire for some reason, and they're working with the Reapers for some reason.
Well, they're not really working with the Reapers. I mean, if you look at Sanctuary, I mean, the Reapers wanted that place destroyed. So at that point, I don't think the Elusive Man was indoctrinated then, because why would he be working against them? So unless he hasn't, this is the problem with the analog of what it means to be indoctrinated. Well, you're not quite indoctrinated. You're getting there. It's like, okay, so when does that happen, and how does that happen? And that's the big question. No one knows, and we can only look to Mass Effect 1 on what was that planet called again, where all the Solarians that were indoctrinated were in cells, and they were all indoctrinated. Vermeer, right? Thank you. Yeah. So they were all indoctrinated, and it affected them in different ways, but they all had problems. If that one that knew that, his time for this world is short. So that is the benchmark we're using, because that we can definitely say are all indoctrinated. That's a lot of crazy people. So then we have to then look at what's so special about Shepard. He is strong-willed, apparently. So is it like bubbling beneath the surface? If there is, we have to see that surface. And the only thing we have are dreams. Which
there's no way to gauge any of this, like his state of indoctrination.
Exactly.
Yes, we don't know what it actually looks like in game from the protagonist's perspective. We can only see it from other characters, and even then, it's like they're not us.
Which doesn't really help. Trying to deduce Mr. Stoic over here, who starts dreaming about who has 3 dreams. The entire trilogy is 3 dreams. So, yeah.
All the options. If you can't make the hard choices, step aside for those who can.
There's still hope for this cycle.
Humanity can be so much more. Destroying the Reapers gains us nothing. Why kill when you...
What is this? Like, again, he's making a third claim that if you choose these other options, your eyes glow blue.
Again, massive inference. It's a color. What does a color mean exactly? It's kind of... I don't know.
Like, the Elusive Man had blue eyes since the beginning. In his comic, he was touched by a Reaper artifact. He was about to be a husk or whatever, and he got out of it. Shepard had red eyes. Looked exactly the same, except on a 90-degree angle. He wasn't indoctrinated. So what's your point?
Yeah.
You can control. There are choices coming that you're not equipped to make.
So now
blue. I wouldn't even agree that Paragon stands for order. For me, Paragon means idealism and trying to find the best way, through the best means, kind of thing. I don't see how that collides with order or whatever. That's
just a color. It could have been orange, could have been yellow.
Yeah.
They wanted to match the ending as best they could when being painted into a corner. And we have red and blue for Paragon and Renegade. That's what we'll do. And green is a great contrast between the two colors because they're primaries. So it's like, okay, fine, green, whatever. Life is green, sure, go with that.
Yeah. More colors. Always comes back to colors.
The Shepard's final battle against the Reapers is a fight within their mind. No, it isn't. The will to resist against the growing threat of indoctrination. How do you know that? The Reapers underestimated Shepard's strong willpower. Okay.
Whoa. I mean, I'll grant you, Shepard has a really strong willpower, especially the way they've been written, but it's a Reaper. It's literally a Cthulhu god thing.
It's like, this amoeba is really strong. Wow, what are we going to do, guys?
That's cool, but...
I don't know. What do you think? Wait another 6 months. Maybe it'll be indoctrinated. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, why would they intervene to force a decision and break Shepard's will?
Why do they care?
Yeah.
Why would they care? The final battle of Mass Effect is the process of indoctrination. How do you know that? The only way to win this battle, to survive, is to make oneself aware of it. And okay, how do you do that? You can't. There's no option to wake up, like in Metal Gear Solid 3, when you have that.
Yeah, there's no Easter eggs. There's no hidden thing that you have to do. There's no choice you have to make earlier in the game to learn this or whatever. It's just a standard level. I will admit, the level itself at the ending was really trippy and weird, so you could maybe infer something from it, but ultimately it just took place in the Citadel, and it was, or the Catalyst or wherever it took place. Exactly.
Yeah. Casey Hudson is not Hideo Kojima, okay? This did not happen. There is no pill to crunch your molar on and wake up, okay? Not there.
Really nice video, though, I have to say. This is why I get
intervention is necessary.
Sorry, could you... I missed the subtitles there.
Why wouldn't the Reapers defend the beam with all their forces or deactivate it? Surely they realize it could destroy all Reapers. Because the story sucks?
Yeah. And also, we didn't bring all our forces along, which I thought was a weird kind of narrative thing. But again, that was probably just production.
Why did the Reapers have a beam? Why did the Reapers have a beam in the first place?
Wasn't it supposed to be like a space elevator thing to pull the bodies up for biomass or whatever?
Yeah, but
the idea behind it.
Yeah, but if this is the argument, then just stop it. Turn it off. Like he's saying, why not? Why wouldn't they deactivate it? Surely they realize it could destroy. What could destroy it? What, the Crucible? If that's the case, destroy the Crucible. What's stopping them?
Yeah.
Like it's just like this. There's a lot simpler answers to these questions, and the better answer, or the clearer, more obvious answer is this is bad writing.
Yeah. I always found the charge to the beam a bit odd from a tactical standpoint as well, from the protagonist side.
Oh boy, yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, just well, why didn't you all just get in gunships or shuttles and get that way? Like, say they turn the beam off, what are they going to do? Oh, whatever, let's just hop in our air power and use that to get in. I mean, that's probably what they would have to do, I guess, in that circuit.
Super chat from Mad Courier 6. The guy who made this video must have been drinking the multicolored BioWare Kool-Aid.
He was probably eating some of those cupcakes too, then.
Maybe he just had the red flavored, because everyone I've ever seen these videos, even the previous video, they love Destroy. Destroy must be the best. It's like guys, they all suck. They're all bad.
They do also. Yes.
We gotta move! Harbinger could have killed Shepard immediately if you stop or walk. No. Actually, you could literally stop and walk and you'll be fine. But
it's scripted that way. You can't die.
But it's not their intention to kill you.
Then why are they shooting at you with beam?
Is it a laser show? Like what's? Get to the beam. Get to the beam.
Well,
we're trying to kill you, but not really.
Damn, son.
Finally, Shepard seems to be paralyzed and unable to evade the laser beam, like on Rannoch. He could avoid the laser beam on Rannoch.
Yeah, it was really annoying, but you could avoid it.
You could lose and die. Also, like what's?
Yeah.
Harbinger uses all their power. Oh, he was holding back.
How do you hold back a massive laser?
There's my favorite saying. Thank you, Tom the Cat. I do appreciate that. That's.
Oh,
yeah. If someone just had a cane, just pop shot, just a pop shot, just Harbinger, just standing there, sitting duck, just pop, boom.
Yeah. I mean, you brought the entire line. What's left of the Alliance military here? I'm sure they have some artillery somewhere they could take some shots. Or canes, yeah, like said.
Or one Thenix.
They seem to do the job.
Thenix missile standing around. Just someone didn't use it. It's like, it's over there. Just turn it on.
I have all these things kill Reapers, but they never barely get used.
Nope. We'll just make a kamikaze run on our feet.
In our APC that seemed to get one hit by the laser.
Yeah, this was just a dumb scene. Like, let's just be honest.
Yeah, just fade to white. And he does that staggered animation as though he's been hit by a melee attack, which is hilarious as well. As he gets hit by a beam.
So everything you see and hear now is just in Shepard's mind. If everything you see and hear is a dream, the rest of what you see and hear is meaningless, if not false. Okay? Because it's a dream. If this is this theory's belief that at this point everything is fake, then it means nothing. There's literally no meaning you can derive aside from allegory, because it's a dream, and therefore not real. That's what this theory is telling us. This is one of the huge problems. If this is true, if all the crap they just stated was true, they then have to explain this, and they can't.
Well, brace yourself, chat. This is where it'll get weird.
And now you stand alone, Shepard. Your allies have fallen. You have no one left.
I wish Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget would shut up right about now.
Yeah.
Why would
that also never happens in games? So
first off,
that way
they're not retreating; they're regrouping.
Yeah.
As Coates says, we don't know how many are left. Aside from Coates saying they're all gone.
Nope.
So what's wrong with regrouping? I don't understand. The charge didn't work. Do it again. Get more people.
Well, yeah, because it kind of seemed like a bad plan to begin with. So yeah, they probably would have to regroup.
Seems pretty normal military procedure here.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, that was a conflicting order.
Yeah, he says regroup. The lady says retreat.
Retreat. Those are two very different orders.
Exactly. Right. So it's chaos of war. I get it.
Yeah. It's not a big problem. It just kind of stuck out to me now that I'm watching again.
And now we're talking about shrubs and trees.
That is a big difference.
I'm not sure what to make of that one. Apparently they didn't exist, but now they do.
Oh, wow. My mind is blown by these existence.
I'm going to put this up to production value as opposed to bad. So again, I have two defenses here. Bad storytelling, bad production value, right? This is the latter.
Or just copy pasting assets from one location to another.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And who's to say there isn't shrubs on Earth, even in the middle of a city? Well, you guys have all seen cities. You can see shrubs, in the middle of it.
Kind of common, yeah. They're here and there, yeah.
Rises your value. You've impressed it. Join us, and we can find a place for you.
Human. Impressive technical potential.
Why would
God.
Why would
humans
the
are
Reapers
impressive.
let the beam teleport you right next to the room that can open the Citadel arms? It's because it's bad writing. It's because it's contrived. It's because it's going to keep getting
Have
worse.
a way for Shepard to get to the Citadel.
Because we couldn't have Shepard running around for hours and hours on the Citadel trying to get to wherever he has to get to. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't make too much sense. Well, not to say the rest of it makes much sense either, but you wouldn't waste people's time.
Impressive genetic malleability. Shepard.
Anything Harbinger says, ever, just ignore throughout the entire series.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter what he says. It's completely meaningless.
He was just there to sound menacing. They overdid him way too much in Mass Effect 2, where he literally talks to you in the middle of mundane combats.
Dr. Claw can be ignored in any context. Doesn't matter.
Submit now.
Pretty much loses all gravitas he ever has when he talks like this.
Okay, so your pistol's infinite ammo, so what? You can't kill or physically affect the Keepers or Anderson. So what? Gaming convention.
Oh, theoretically, going on the first game, all the guns have practically infinite ammo anyway.
So it's not even a gaming convention. It's actually lore that guns have unlimited ammo.
They're going back to form, you're saying. We're retconning our pistol back to the way it should be. This is how crazy this story is getting right now. We're throwing good and bad things at you. Oh, what did we do last game? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, the game before that. Well, it had infinite ammo, sir. Okay, let's do that. Throw it in there. Okay. Here we go.
It's dark. There's human remains scattered.
Reminds me of your description of the collector.
This is not an argument. Does the surroundings look familiar? Okay. Despite all the bodies. Yeah. Aside from that.
Yeah, what does that mean? It looks different. It looks like collector base. So
yeah, this entire idea is just ridiculous because the conception is that they're using all these human bodies to make a Reaper, but there's a queue, or they're not ready, and they're just sort of hanging these bodies out. And Mr. Keeper there is just like taking all the gold off all their, bodies so they can melt it down for, I don't know, a big golden Reaper. I have no clue.
Golden Reaper.
It's a big bullshit scene. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
But their argument is it's all a dream. Well, you know what?
This is where all the budget basically went to shit, and then they just threw in what assets they had, pretty much make this up.
Yeah.
We have installed filters to allow you to make visual sense of this server's...
Of course, it's all a dream. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, and this tech isn't even... Well, is that tech similar to what the Reapers use? Or is
Well,
it
it's all
similar?
a dream, so whatever's in his head could make the tech up, so why not?
Raw data. Your mind perceives our world as something familiar.
Yeah, reused assets.
Exactly. This is argument 2. Bad production. Slam this thing together, get it out the door. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I hate to be really cynical, folks. It's when you've played these games long enough and seen other video games, other BioWare games, you can easily chalk it up to that. There's no
pretty much.
Yeah. Occam's razor is a much better answer to a lot of the stuff than some whacked out conspiracy theory.
No, there, as Anderson said, there were multiple, as the narrative has told us. So it's not a good explanation, but that's what we're given. So no, there was only one path as we were given, but he got here before there. So who the hell knows what the hell happened to the previous path?
Yeah. And doesn't he say the paths move around and stuff in the narrative?
It's a shifting, setting. So it's like,
so this is the path you came across. Conveniently, it takes you right there. So way.
Yeah, I'll chalk that up to both bad writing and bad production value.
Yeah. Again, this ending feels very rushed.
Reaper voices inside Shepard's head. No, there aren't. They are trying to take control of Shepard on Earth. He's not on Earth. He's on the Citadel. As they remain near the conduit site. Oh, because you're asleep on Earth. That's right. Your body's.
Oh yeah.
But you're dreaming this all in your head.
Yeah. So the theory goes.
Yeah.
Shepard.
Anderson Paragon, what? Represents the part of Shepard's... Oh, okay. That is still resisting the influence of the... Okay.
That's, again, a bit of an inference. Like, I don't think you can ascribe a gameplay morality mechanic to a person, like their personality and stuff. I mean, I guess you could, but it's a bit of a stretch. Like,
if he was like,
I feel like he's just trying to connect the dots to make it sound like, whoa.
Yeah, if he was like glowing blue or something, all right, fine, maybe I could see it. Yeah. Like when you do symbolism, you have to actually use a symbol. You don't just say, "Oh, here's Anderson, therefore Paragon." It's like, no.
Also, for those of you that have read Drew Karpashian's books, Anderson does some pretty pragmatic stuff in those books. He blows Kyle, puts a shell through Kyling's leg. I don't know if I would call that a very Paragon choice, so. But there it goes.
I can't.
Why do you resist us, Shepard?
I underestimated you, Shepard.
Okay. Well, the bigger question is, where the hell did he come from?
Yeah, this was extremely jarring when this was when I was like, when I first played this game, I thought, whoa, this is weird. And then when he appeared, I was like, oh god, this is awful. I was like, oh no, what have they done?
So yeah, this is definitely bad writing. And I would say bad scene setup. So definitely bad writing. And then the second that, like, how do you put together a cutscene? And this is just ridiculous. Like,
it's horrible because you hear his voice before he even appears, and it's weird.
He comes out from behind you, and you're zoomed into the camera, so you don't know exactly where he walks.
It's a horrible camera angle.
Yeah.
What? Control of the Reapers, and of you, if necessary.
Of course, they increase the pressure on whatever the hell that means. I'm increasing the pressure on your temples. Can you feel that?
Can you feel it?
Okay.
Sure.
You will regret your resistance, Shepard.
The indoctrinated part. Okay, so now there's different parts of his mind. The whatever.
His brain is sectioned off.
Let's just go with this. So there's different parts of his mind. One of them is indoctrinated, and is now telling him something. I don't know what. It's lying to him, saying, "No, I'm not indoctrinated."
Outside this whole theory thing this guy's trying to present, this scene is utterly bizarre, where you've got Shepard, Anderson, and the Elusive Man all just kind of sitting there, and
Yes.
Shepard barely says anything during it. It's weird. He should be yelling about stuff that's going
And to
on.
be fair, it is so weird. I would say, yeah, this is trippy. This is like someone's like knocked out in a dream or on drugs or hallucinating. So like something.
This does not feel like reality at all. This whole scene.
Exactly. So that is like a feeling. It's not a logical deduction. It's just something that this is off. So it's more of a presentation issue than it is a writing issue. Okay, I just got a super chat from Boag or Boag. Remember Ding Dong Banu? Oh God, let's not go there. That's a talk on the Tortanic, not necessarily the Mass Effect franchise, but yes, we do remember the end of the line. So okay, so apparently we have a part of Shepard's mind which is telling it it's not indoctrinated, even though it is. Following along? Okay.
Sure.
Controlling you? I don't think so, Admiral.
Controlling me is a lot different than controlling a Reaper.
Okay, now we're attributing grief and guilt, which is now personified as the child, even though it's not in the scene. I don't know where. Yeah, I think he's jumping ahead. Maybe he's just like, getting his thoughts together and waiting for the scene to come by.
I don't know if you could conflate grief and guilt as an emotion that would make you more susceptible to being controlled or influenced, particularly. If anything, that would just overwhelm your mind. When people are really distraught or sad, someone's died or whatever, it's kind of hard to talk to them about anything. I don't really know if that would make someone more... I mean, obviously, we don't know, because this is all magical bullshit from a fictional universe. But I don't really see how you could influence someone's mind while they're in such an extreme emotional state. If anything, that to me seems like it would be more difficult, but that's
all
great.
Right. Just got another super chat from Mad Courier 6. Thank you very much. Shepard's cerebellum is siding against his hippocampus. In the mind, you know what? That's kind of interesting if you know anything about the hippocampus, but a little bit of neurology for you. Yeah, it's cool. But I don't think the video creator is actually talking about parts of the brain as interesting as I would like to.
No. Sadly, there's, just a dumb concept thing. Just, oh yeah, part of his mind. Oh, deep stuff.
Personifying it with emotions that aren't on the screen yet. So yeah, let's see where he's going with this.
Have a little faith.
Pain is an illusion.
An animation occurs. This means something.
Yeah, we know what's going on. We know there's a battle. Okay, but what are you getting at here?
Only if we can
Okay.
harness their ability.
This was weird. This is probably the weirdest thing about this scene. Why is Shepard like doing this? Are they implying the elusive man has biotics or something?
He has purple biotics.
Oh, so is that literally all that's going on here from reality? He's just puppeteering him biotics.
What you don't do is you do not invent new powers or new technologies within the last half hour of a story.
Two things. Biotics, as far as I know or remember, I mean, maybe it happens in the novels, because I have read some of the novels, but I can't remember. It's been years since I read them. Biotics can puppeteer people, as far as I know exactly. They can, like, obviously, push people and manipulate them with, what is it, gravity and stuff like that they use?
Exactly.
Yeah. But they can, like, create energy to, like, move the person or control them. It's not like blood magic and fancy things where it controls their nervous system or their blood flow or whatever.
So the concept that somehow Tim has augmented himself with Reaper implants that can do a literal brain control of, Shepard holding, these guys can't move. He's manipulating them like puppets.
Do you know what would have made this cool and made it work? Shepard was rebuilt by Cerberus. His cybernetics are being controlled by Tim.
Well, that was a big point in the story with Miranda, how she wanted to put a control chip in his mind, in his brain, and she didn't.
To say they didn't do that, that could have been an interesting twist. But
oh, you mean like Miranda's like, we didn't do it, and then Tim's like, well, I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they had to introduce it. They should have introduced that at what was it? I can't remember the name of the Cerberus station that you go to before Earth.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting this would have fixed the scene. I just think it could have been a different way of taking, if you have to go with this,
Well,
Maybe
at least it would help explain it.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they did the same thing with the Normandy when they tried to. Was it in the? I can't remember where it was, but they tried to recall the Normandy after Mass Effect 2, and they couldn't. And it would be the same thing with Shepard. They tried to bring him back under their control, and because Miranda didn't put in one chip, it couldn't do it. But within close proximity, maybe it could. Yeah, all right, possibility.
There's one last thing I will say on this whole point. I know we've harped on about it a lot, about the Tim controlling people. I just found it really bizarre. What if Shepard is a strong biotic themselves, as you can do in the game?
That's what I was about to say. If Shepard is themselves as a super strong biotic, then doesn't that kind of invalidate it?
Even without being a biotic, Shepard is like supposedly super strong with all their cybernetics. You think they would do more here than just be puppeteered willingly? They should be struggling a bit more for this.
Well, we don't have a what's the QuickTime event system where it's like, you've seen in some games where you mash the button to get through an event, or you're struggling with a God of War or what have you. That was never a thing, and it could work. I don't like QuickTime events, but it could work if it was an actual mechanic and you're struggling against Tim and you always lose. It doesn't matter how hard you try.
Well, not to go back to Metal Gear again, that's a whole can of worms, but the whole torture scene in the first game, that's probably one of those instances where button bashing kind of works thematically because you're struggling, almost. But
and that talks into the character of Snake being this just really tough dude.
Yeah,
and you can actually fail those scenes. So yeah, and that changes the ending. That's a totally simple way of applying choices and characterization to.
It makes the player feel a part of it.
Exactly. It's like I broke my thumb for like 5 minutes. Honestly, when I played that in Metal Gear Solid 1, I was tense as hell. I was like, oh my God, I better get through this scene. And all I'm doing is pushing one button as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah, so button mashing can work sometimes.
Yeah, it can work. It's a very simple mechanic. But in this case, what's really happening is Tim is... I don't know.
Okay, Mom's Pizza comments. Isn't there a dominate ability in Mass Effect 2 and 3 to control the enemy? Morineth has it, and Shepard can learn if he recruits her.
Good point.
That's true, yeah. So I guess it's feasible, but Still a weird scene.
If you're a sorry vampire, sex vampire, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely feasible.
All right.
We destroy them, or they destroy us.
And waste this opportunity? Never.
I will show you true power.
You're playing with things you don't understand. With power you shouldn't be able to use.
I don't believe that. If we can control it, why shouldn't it be ours?
Okay, once again, everything in this scene is a dream. So there's really weak arguments for everything being stated here, but he just showed us like 10 seconds of nothing. I'm like, okay. Whatever.
Because we're not ready.
We are the harbinger of your perfection.
Oh god.
No.
Shut up.
This is the way humanity must evolve.
Your species will be raised to a new existence.
There's always another way.
I've dedicated my life to understanding the Reapers, and I know with certainty the Crucible will allow me to control them.
Reaper Indoctrination.
Wait a minute. Tim said he knows for a certainty the Crucible will control the Reaper. I thought no one knew what it did.
Have access to what information he has, so then we can have some idea of what it actually does.
I was going to say, Tim, could you maybe share with us what the Crucible does at least?
Well, that's just
maybe we'll help you once we learn this.
That's just his opinion. He doesn't really know. He just he's really controlled by the Reapers in Dream World, so it doesn't make a difference.
Is an insidious means of corrupting organic minds.
And then what?
Look at the power they wield. Look at what they can do.
Okay, now we're listening to sound clips.
Yeah, this means something.
There are three characters on the screen. You can clearly hear two different voices groan in pain. Shepard and Anderson. Yes, they're right there. One is going to shoot the other. The other one got hit by a frickin' lightning bolt of doom, which didn't kill him. So, super chat. Thank you, Mad Courier 6. Someone please make the flying spaghetti monster stupid shut up. Yeah, well, give us another 20 minutes. We'll get there.
Make good progress so far.
I know you feel this.
Reaper's suggestions can manipulate victims into betraying friends.
I see what they did to you.
Remember, Anderson is part of Shepard. It's a dream. Later, when Anderson dies, which is a dream, Shepard's left arm will be covered by blood from that wound, which is a dream. It's all allegorical. It means nothing. Thank you.
I took what I wanted from them, made it my own. This isn't about me or you. It's about things so much bigger than all of us.
It's great that it's all about us. Everything's us. It's all about Shepard. Nothing else is at stake. Okay, if nothing else is at stake, what's the big problem? It's all a dream. Nothing matters.
It just makes this whole scene so less. I mean, it was stupid in its original form.
When you have a theory or some sort of idea of what's going on, it fills in gaps. It makes things whole. It doesn't make them empty. It doesn't make them worse. This is what he's saying, or this person is writing about. Nothing else matters except for Shepard because it's all a dream. If that's the case, what the hell is the point? There is no value here. There's no meaning. Everything else...
You wouldn't do... This scene is bizarre, but if the indoctrination theory was really what they were going for, they probably wouldn't have constructed this scene like this. I don't think, but I could be wrong because this scene is utterly baffling the way it's...
He's wrong. Don't listen to him.
And who will you listen to, Shepard? An old soldier stuck in his ways, only able to see...
Okay, this is where the author's projecting. He's like saying, okay, they want, in my opinion, they want your character person, hero dude, to become something else, something bigger, something perfect. Like, what is that bigger? Like, what are you trying to say here? He's perfect in what sense? He's bigger in what sense? The same argument that was made by Saren. What?
Yes, Saren never said that he wanted to be perfect. he in his mind he wanted to save, everyone.
He was trying to sell Shepard on being a cyborg, how it's the strengths of both, the weaknesses of neither.
Yeah.
But
he wasn't because he said, "I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this to save everyone." I'm pretty sure that's one of his lines. It's again just inferring.
I don't mind them implying that here's an instance of indoctrination, here's an instance of a dream sequence, but now he's like, oh, they're doing this because of this. And you're like, where are you getting that? I don't know how many inferences he's made past the 3 we already read, but this is like, I guess, number 4. They want, now he's implying a plot from the enemies in a dream sequence. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
See the world down the barrel of a gun? And what if he's wrong? What if controlling the Reapers is the answer?
If we destroy the Reapers, this ends today. But if you can't control them...
But I can!
Are you willing to bet humanity's existence on it?
I know it will work.
You can't, can you? They won't let you do it.
No! I'm in control! No one is telling me what to do!
Listen to yourself. You're indoctrinated.
What? He's speaking to Shepard, not... Maybe because his head and entire body is being manipulated by Tim, and he can't actually move his head properly, or his spine.
Oh yeah, because Tim has him immobilized. I forgot all his weird bullshit powers.
His purple biotics, yeah, whatever.
Listen to yourself. You're indoctrinated.
No! No! The two of you so self-righteous. Do you think power like this comes easy? There are sacrifices.
You've sacrificed.
Aren't indoctrinated people like, Reapers are awesome, we love Reapers, let's go watch them? Why would
indoctrination was supposed to bring around to the Reaper point of view?
Yeah, why would the indoctrinated... Yeah, why would the indoctrinated part of that person's mind go, no, I'm not indoctrinated, this is wrong. It's like, that's not what we know about indoctrination.
Yeah, like, indoctrination would be more like, you can make things better, I can give you so much knowledge and stuff like that, a more Sidious kind of thing, where it lures you with promises. That's how I'd picture it.
Dr. Kenson was like really like, ooh, I can't wait. This is amazing.
All the knowledge of the universe and all that stuff, yeah. Like, it's also weird that this is probably just a little nitpicky thing. He refers, if this is true and it's all an illusion, like 2 halves of his mind or whatever, why would Tim refer to them as 2 different people? That was kind of a weird bit of dialogue. That doesn't really fit. Like, the 2 of you are doubting me and all that. It's a little odd, but
especially when compared to like what the author of the video is inferring with what Anderson, because Anderson just uses you, whereas like you said, Tim uses the 2 of you consistently inside Shepard's head. Then shouldn't Tim be just saying you as well?
Yeah.
We're literally arguing semantics and grammar. It's just like, okay, I guess, maybe, sure.
It's kind of hard to talk about this whole thing because on the one hand, I'm looking at this from what this guy's trying to say is happening with the indoctrination theory and how this scene originally plays out. And those are 2 very weirdly different things to talk about. It's really difficult, surprisingly.
And again, this is all a dream. It's not real. It's all allegory. Okay? Just keep that in mind, in the back of your head. Every time he says something, it's like, oh, it's not really happening.
I only wanted to protect humanity. The Crucibles can control them. I know it can. I just...
It's not too late. Let us go. We'll do the rest. You're not yourself anymore. We've taken you.
Now, you're the one who failed.
No, He doesn't, as far as I remember. Does he? Does he die?
I can't remember, honestly. It's been years since, because remember I used the happy ending mod when I replayed the game, so this doesn't happen.
See,
because this scene is so horrible, I can't play through it normally.
Okay, let's just see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
And you will die knowing you're one of my greatest disappointments.
Can't you shoot him after that, though?
Yeah, I think you can. I do remember that.
So wait a second, doesn't that mean that they win? If they're killing the Paragon's non-indoctrinated side of you?
Yeah, they're killing you in the dream.
You have failed.
Oh, he's not the real elusive man. Oh.
Yeah, because it's all a dream, I guess.
So it didn't really mean anything. Oh, thanks. Thanks, guys. That really clarified the ending for no one.
Good use of resources there, devs, for this dream.
Shepard, you could have been useful.
Because you. Humanity is already undone.
Not true!
They have the Citadel. They've got us fight.
Oh, it's a trick this time. Oh, okay. So if the elusive man kills himself, no, that's not real. It's just a trick. Oh, that makes sense. Thanks.
Fighting each other instead of fighting them.
I just need to.
You've done exactly what the Reapers wanted. You're still doing it because they control you.
Okay. So you can't actually. This is great. So in one case, it's okay. In the second case, it's a trick. In the third case, it's kind of a trick. It's just
so much inference.
Like, wow, I never even thought of that. The many times I went through, I had no idea it was a mental battle. Fascinating.
Well, the more you know.
They're too strong.
You're stronger. Don't let them win. Break their hold. Don't let them control you.
I tried, Shepard.
Not yourself anymore. They've taken you.
No! You're the one who failed.
Darkness surrounds shop and the Reapers be okay. So if they shoot Anderson, they're doing a last ditch attempt. I thought they won at that point. So now what? No, this is wrong. I think he's just showing the wrong scene. I think his argument's opposite then. If it's because if he shoots Anderson and the Paragon part of him is dead and he gets shot. I think.
So he loses as soon as Anderson dies, is that what he's trying to say?
Well, yeah, but then he's saying they're doing a last ditch attempt. So
But they've got what they need if they kill Anderson, so
yeah.
Why is this a last ditch?
That's why I think the scene is. Oh my god, it's gonna hurt. Oh.
All right, let's just carry through it, I think.
Okay. Mad Courier 6, another super chat. Thank you, sir. One last question. Have you ever considered doing a plot analysis of any of the Fallout games? Because it's pretty clear you like New Vegas. That's a good question. You know what? New Vegas, I would consider it. I love Fallout 2. That was my favorite of the series. It was just the more adult. And I thought the time limit, I thought the car, I thought all the little elements, even if it was turn-based, I thought was excellent. But obviously, New Vegas was really the hallmark of the series. So, I would look at New Vegas. New Vegas is a lot simpler to analyze than Fallout 2 would be. And it's also my style. It has voice acting, it has choices and what have you. So, I would definitely do that. Again, up to my patrons, not up to me. I'm still struggling through KOTOR because it takes a while. And hopefully I'll be done by next month, I hope. I'm more than halfway done, so that's okay. But yeah, I'll definitely put that on the list. Okay, where were we? Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's partially not indoctrinated, I think. Thinks they've overcome indoctrination. Oh, okay, now he's inferring that we're thinking something while he's dreaming. He's getting really deep here. He's going really deep. This is... Like, not only is he dreaming, he's now thinking while dreaming about something. It's like, whoa, dude.
Oh, is it just me as well? Is the text, the evil forces of corruption a little bit... I don't know, there's something weird about using that kind of text. I don't know. It just seems
we are not analyzing font. I'm sorry. We're not going to go there.
No, not the style of font, but, just the evil forces of corruption seems a bit... I don't know. It's probably just me. Seems a bit strong.
Just so you know, indoctrination's bad, okay, guys?
Yeah, okay.
It's nefarious. How modded is your Kotor? I don't think it's modded at all. It's the GOG download. So, yeah. I've seen some nice mods though. I'm trying to remember all the ones you can download at the Nexus, but they're beautiful. But I don't like cosmetic things. I just want plain vanilla. There. Did you get your head shot off?
I wish you could see it.
How is he talking? It's all a dream. He's indoctrinated. It must be true.
If I remember correctly, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, folks, in the chat. This only happens if you shoot him and not if he kills himself, i.e. shoot himself in the head.
Really?
Yes. It's one of those weird, very specific details.
Okay, that's cool.
Still odd.
It's like, hey, we're stuck in a 100-foot hole, but hey, that's still cool.
It's
okay.
Sure.
Thing, buddy. How are we breathing? Where are we? Da da da. Where did this platform come from? How are they sitting against it? I thought it was a rotunda, completely flat. Now we have this magical platform. Bada bada. Yeah. Lots of problems here.
Command.
We did it.
Yes, we did it. Yes, all of you.
The seats in the house.
No, he hasn't. There's no evidence of that.
Sit down.
I think you earned a rest.
Hasn't been detected, before, so...
Stay with me. We're almost through this.
You did good, son. You did good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
See, this kind of makes me angry because this is one of the touching scenes of the ending that actually resonates with people. And to say, oh, this is all in your mind. He represents the good side of your mind that isn't indoctrinated or whatever. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, it just cheapens the performance, of the actors.
Pretty much. It's like saying, oh, it's so touching. Oh, wait, that didn't actually happen. It's all in his head. He's still lying in rubble on Earth or something like that.
Anderson?
This makes no sense.
I don't have a reaction for this anymore. I just...
Because you
sure,
were
buddy?
shot. Because you were bleeding in one area, which is the same location that you shot Anderson. Therefore, the mind raping is working. Like what? Like,
oh. So yeah, none of it matters, folks. It doesn't matter where Anderson got shot, whether you shot him,
it's
whether Tim
symbolic.
killed himself.
He didn't really get shot, but you did in the exact same spot. Therefore, willpower. Like what?
Oh.
Why? Why not volition? Why not mental acuity? Why not patience? Why not any other mental ability? No, willpower. Okay. Good to go.
Commander.
Hey. Shepard? What do you need me to do?
Now they're using Hackett's voice. Again, this is all designed to make Shepard believe that they are the key to the ultimate victory. Well, they kind of are in the story. An appeal to your sense of heroism. Okay. So they're using you in your dreams to lie to you.
Oh.
Why?
Okay.
For what purpose?
I've completely lost the thread of what this guy's trying to say.
If indoctrination is inevitable, who cares what they're doing?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Like, the scene is completely irrelevant regardless of what happens.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. The crystal's not firing.
Why would they even bother making Shepard believe this is the ultimate victory or whatever? Ugh.
It's not right. It looks pretty, calm and peaceful.
This is where his hand gets
but it's
chopped
not
off?
right. It's all just an illusion.
Oh god.
And everyone on the Citadel dies because of gravity, thrown into space. Why is your mobile radio still working after you got hit? I thought we've already concluded we're in a dream here.
Yeah. Like, we're still on Earth next to the beam.
Yeah, so why are you stopping the dialogue and going, oh, but didn't the real Hackett think nobody else made it to the Citadel? I don't know. At that point, it was all a dream, so I have no idea.
Isn't this still a dream?
Yeah.
Or is this real life? Alright.
The time the galaxy follows our lead.
Again, how do you know this? How does anything you do in a dream have anything to do with reality?
Mm-hmm.
How does that connection is made? Because if they're going to advocate, again, they're going to advocate for destruction, I bet. It's like, why? They have a darn good reason. If it's all a dream and allegory, who cares? And I really hate this in science fiction when you see, you defeat the enemy in your mind and then it somehow affects reality. It's like, no. It's just an allegory. It's all a dreamscape. It's not real.
Rallied who you could. The Reapers won't get any more chances to divide us.
Reaper indoctrination
There we go.
is an
Third time.
insidious means of corrupting organic minds.
Well, we gotta make sure the
Reaper's
folks know.
suggestions can manipulate victims into betraying friends, trusting enemies, or viewing the Reaper itself with superstitious awe.
Wake up.
I will direct this personally.
What? Where am I?
The Citadel. It's my home.
Yeah, that's stupid. If it's left audio, like this is true, the left audio is fem-shep and right audio is male-shep. How the hell would male-shep know about fem-shep's voice? How the hell would female-shep know about male-shep's voice?
Yeah, because canonically there is only one, depending on what the player picked. in their game.
Yeah, so this is clearly an example of the second argument we have, which is production value. They wanted it to sound cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
I am the catalyst.
But you're taking away our future. Without a future, we have no hope. Without hope, we might as well be machines, programmed to do what we're told.
You have hope, more than you think. I know you've thought about destroying us. You can wipe out all
Again, here we go. Shepard must choose destruction to overcome the indoctrination and Harbinger's influence. How do you know this? The only choice where Shepard can live. How do you know this? Again, it's all a dream. What are you talking about?
Why would the Reapers give you the option in your indoctrinated dream to overcome said indoctrination? Why would they even show it?
Especially if they say, oh, this button can kill us all. Wouldn't that be the easy answer? Oh, and then that would actually be if there was any correlation between dream and reality, wouldn't that be the thing you shouldn't choose because it's too obvious? Like these are super genius, or supposedly super genius computers, have been around for billions of years. What are they trying to do here? I mean, okay, it's a stupid story at this point, and we can't make sense of it. But if we're trying to be sensible, what are they trying to do in your brain? For what end? There's no good answer to this because there's no point. But this is only buyer's remorse extension fantasy so that you can feel better about your purchase and keep loving BioWare. And the fans had to come up with this nonsense about...
Like, the indoctrination doesn't really fit at all. Like, the idea of indoctrination was for someone like Udina, maybe, so that they could subtly control things without getting revealed and compromised that they're indoctrinated.
I think this is closer, let's say, Leviathan Thrall. What is it called?
Cthulhu.
Whatever the Leviathans did, like they could pretty much overwrite someone's brain and do whatever they wanted, and like they would have abilities like this. Whereas indoctrination is slow and subtle, takes a long time, and then you eventually turn into a husk. This is not. I mean, yeah, you see dreams and visions, but this is like really freaking intricate, and like all these things are happening, and this is symbolic, and this is this, and if you don't do that, you're indoctrinated. It's like you're going to be indoctrinated. It doesn't matter what you do. You will be indoctrinated. These choices are meaningless.
It's just a really elaborate thing to get Shepard indoctrinated to do what exactly? Why don't you just send more troops after him? That make more sense than trying to mind control this guy or
who is
shoot him with a laser beam while he's lying there on Earth or whatever.
Yeah, who Harbinger has called bacteria. He does not care. You are nothing to him. You are a passing target, as all of them have been. You're a slight annoyance at most.
Shepard would not be very useful as a indoctrinated sleeper agent at this point in the story.
They don't need him. They have the Citadel. They have everything they want. They have Earth. They have humanity, supposedly. They've gotten rid of most of the military. It's done.
Yeah.
Well, this is like what Master Chu was saying. So why did they need to even go through all this effort if they've already basically won the battle?
This is not the point in a story where you do a subtle thing like this. This is the big final hurrah to glory and all that stuff.
Yeah, what would happen in this part of the story is the villain or the villainess would seduce or try to seduce the protagonist and undermine their virtues or appeal to their vices. And there's really nothing that I can see. Well, again, Shepard's a static brick, but there's really nothing about his character that we can point to and say, well, what are they trying to get at? What weakness are they trying to attack? And it's just an info dump. It's like, hell yeah, I'm a catalyst, and you guys made this weird box, and it's magical, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no character assassination. There's no delving into the desires and wants and the goals and saying, hey, protagonist, I'm just like you. Can't you see it from my angle? And we're like, no, this is all crazy. This doesn't make any sense. I don't want to do any of these choices. Not, oh, look, see this door number 1? This is sex and puppies forever, and door number 2. This is war forever, and door number 3. You're just gonna sit on your ass and watch TV all day. I don't know, like something that has to appeal to the character of whoever. Like that would be a logical attempt at garnering the character of whomever. Not kill us all, control us all, turn us into something with everyone else, and then you have the option to just say screw you. So it doesn't connect. It does not make sense on a character level. So if they're going to attack the character, they're not doing it. And if it's in his mind, Shepard is a really boring person. Okay, Shepard is like, bleh. Like I don't care about anything. I have no interests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing we can identify with aside from this child he picked up in his head 2 weeks ago, whatever the hell this time span was.
Shepard is just a career soldier that has a job to do. That's pretty much their character.
That's it.
Pathetic life if you want.
The Reapers will be destroyed?
Yes, but the peace won't last.
You will surrender your potential against the growing void.
I'm gonna win this war, and I'll do it without sacrificing the soul of our species.
I absolutely hate that line. Is just
yeah.
And that's a line.
What does that even mean? Like,
yeah, he's talking to Tim at the end. I'm gonna blow up this base because people died. It's like, well, don't you want
people die all the time, dude?
Don't you want to keep it to figure out how they died and why, and then you can use that as a tool to potentially not get more people killed? I mean, why? Like the whole point, a lot in the story, especially Mass Effect 2, is don't waste anything. Keep everything. Do not burn it. Do not just like the Malin's data. Like don't get rid of anything because it might be useful later. That was the idea, and unfortunately, like the same with the Rachni, the same with the base, it just got ruined. They just didn't know what to do with it. Didn't have time or resources to make it work properly. So, yeah, it's just this whole spiel about you must do destruction. It's like, listen, dude, it's a fantasy. You're in your own head. It doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to.
Incidentally, how long have we actually got on the video?
18 minutes.
Oh, so we're nearly done. All right.
Yeah, we got about 3 minutes left.
Cool.
Words are as empty as your future. I am the vanguard of your destruction.
Blah, blah, blah.
You've been spending too much time with
The reversal of Paragon Renegade colors is just another trick. Of course, the Reapers want Shepard to choose it according to their values. Of course they do. This all makes sense. Exactly.
The elaborate foil must continue.
Yes.
the enemy. They're dragging you over to their side. Their way of thinking. You're indoctrinated. You're doing just what they want.
Okay, there's no way to destroy them. You just said, let me just go back here. Yes.
They're dragging you over to their side. Their way of thinking.
They give you 3 choices to trick you. If there was no way to destroy the Reaper, Shepard's mind would see through this illusion. What? Why? How?
What?
How would he know?
Yeah.
If there was no way. He doesn't know how to destroy the Reapers. He
doesn't know what this thing does.
This thing does. No one does. How could his mind figure that out, even on a subconscious level? Okay.
Shepard's mind is that good.
No, it's the non-indoctrinated part of his mind, or whatever.
Yeah.
Indoctrinated. You're doing just what they want.
They will be as we are. We are superior.
Why? How do you know? What are you talking? It's all in your head. Don't know.
They are vermin. We are your genetic destiny.
Of course it's a trick. Of course, yes. Merge a human. Of course, yes. Not space magic. It is space magic. It literally is space magic. It's a big Deus Ex mocking a device that shoots a beam into a bunch of little nodes that shoot other beams that explode the galaxy with green magic that turn plants into computers and and computers into
fleshy.
I
bags.
don't know. I really don't. It is about as magical as it gets. I've never seen anything more magical in the entire, like, this is
in any fictional setting.
Galactic level magic.
Things.
It's gigantically magical. There's nothing more, especially in a science fiction story. So
yeah, which usually tone down the magic a bit in most cases.
Yeah, they make their science fiction as believable as possible, which Mass Effect started off as a hard sci-fi. Now it's gone the way of, well, Deus Ex. So
not even like anything. It doesn't resemble anything anymore. It's for the top nonsense.
Yeah. Well,
it's sad.
Progress cannot be halted. Evolution cannot be stopped.
Whatever your plan is, it's going to fail.
Saving the galaxy from the Reapers and saving yourself from the Indoctrination is the ultimate goal. No, it's not. The only choice is to withstand their corruption. How do you do that?
By shooting your gun at an engine, of course.
Yeah, because destroying something causes something to work. Of course, that makes perfect sense. All in Shepard's mind.
Oh yeah, this is still a dream, folks.
I'll make sure of that.
And I'm sending the Reapers back to hell.
In your mind. How do you know that? How do you know this isn't a dream?
Yeah.
Really?
As soon as you open that can of worms, you don't know what's happening anymore.
Everything after that point in time is a dream, including this.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't, let's just think about the logic of it. Like, it ends on Shepard taking a breath, and then what? Predation theory, that just means the story ends before the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People brought this up. I remember the game was released. They're like, oh, Indoctrination theory. And they're like, well, okay, does that mean there's going to be a DLC with the real ending and the final fight? But that never happened, obviously.
Yeah, and Shepard was never on the Citadel, so he was really just in his head on the ground, and the Reapers are still there.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Thanks, Indoctrination theory. You really cleared up those holes there.
Yeah. You literally did nothing, pretty much.
Tell me another
Oh
story.
no.
Oh, it's Buzz. Hey, Buzz.
It's getting late, but okay.
You're right, Buzz, it's getting late.
One more story.
This it.
Oh god, that's the freaking DLC. Buy more
Yeah,
DLC ending. Oh my.
This was before the extended cut. Yeah, this whole thing. Video.
Oh god.
So they kept that.
Just rub salt in the wound. Okay.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. This is it.
What? The
Why
galaxy
is it-
blowing up is a picture of hope? What?
I think he's trying to flavor this as like, you know, oh look, they're all returning home and
By giving
things
the,
are back
the,
to
the
normal or
romance
whatever.
music amidst the galaxy blowing up? Okay.
I think he's just trying to use the assets like that scene to tell something else than what's actually happening.
Well, apparently.
That's just that's what I'm inferring.
You don't call it a theory for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Won't the old races go back to the status quo now the Reaper's defeated?
Well,
I mean, they probably all get along a bit better after going through this huge galactic war, but give it another 100 years, probably be just threats again.
yeah, there's lots of hope and peace and survival being crash landing on a planet. That's
Yeah.
We're all dead.
That was a dire message.
We're all gonna die. Thanks. That was it?
Yeah, he didn't even have a conclusive message. It was just subtitles.
Hope is special. There are too many hints and apparent plot holes to ignore or deny. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay then. There's so much evidence and there's so many plot holes. Therefore, indoctrination theory.
There's so much bad writing. Be deliberate.
Any alternative, like bad writing, to the indoctrination theory must address the following arguments. Oh boy, how hard is this going to be?
Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh boy. Whoa.
Oh
okay.
God.
What is the
so
meaning
fast.
of the dreams? Whatever you want them to be. What does nobody notice? Why does nobody notice the boy? Because that was the point of view of the camera. It's not important. It was to address that Shepard symbolizes humanity with the boy. Very simple. Why would Shepard be immune to indoctrination? He's not. There's no implication that he wasn't, or he was indoctrinated. Why does Harbinger take a special interest in Shepard? Because he's the antagonist of the second game, and he doesn't shut up about him. Why are there trees from the dream around the beam?
We covered this. Like, it was assets, and it's a city, there'll be shrubbery around.
Why does your sidearm have infinite ammo so that you can shoot the canister on the right and you don't have to worry about gameplay mechanics? I don't even know why they gave you the option to fire your gun at all until that point in time, but simplicity of gameplay mechanics. Why create a problem? Exactly. Why is the beam directly leading to the panel that opens Citadel arms? Storytelling that's bad?
Yeah, because we need to get to the plot, I guess.
Yeah, get from point A to point B.
Storytelling.
Yeah, it's simple. That's not a big question. Why are corpses everywhere in the Citadel just like on the Collector's ship? Because it's there for human Reaper making.
Yeah, for biomatter or whatever.
And for some stupid reason, they didn't want to show the factory or the production line that the Collectors had.
Because that would have upped the game's rating a bit.
Yeah, whatever. They didn't have. They didn't want to show the new Reaper being born, so they just piled bodies. It's creepy. Ooh, how did Anderson enter the beam before Shepard? He didn't. They said he didn't. He came in after. He just arrived earlier because he came at a different location. Like, these are all very basic. And you don't need a giant dream sequence to make this all believable, guys. This is pretty straightforward. Oh my goodness. Okay. Why was Anderson teleported to another location, and how did he arrive at the panel first? Because story. How did Hackett know that Shepard made it to the Citadel after the entire force had been decimated? Because he contacted him. I don't know how he contacted him, but he did. Why is Shepard bleeding at the same spot Anderson was shot? What? Who cares?
I don't know how that's relevant at all, but...
How come the Normandy escapes with Shepard's last two squad mates? Story contrivance. Bad writing. Wouldn't the explosion of mass relays cause supernovas like in The Arrival? Yes!
We keep bringing that up, but BioWare doesn't want to listen.
Yep.
Why can't Shepard kill the Keepers or Anderson? Again, gameplay contrivance. Why we had the option to fire in the first place is irrelevant. It wasn't about a cover shooter at that point, but they kept the mechanic. What is the growl that Shepard hears on the Citadel? The Reapers? I mean,
there's Reapers everywhere. Yeah.
I'm not sure what that has to do with the story at that point.
Yeah. I just figured it was a creepy ambience thing, if anything.
Yeah, how about the big, like that weird greasy black stuff whenever Tim came on the screen? Like that was a grease, like it looked like someone had a filter on the screen. It's like...
Oh, the creepy black ooze kind of around the edges.
I think I've heard some ITers talk about that, and I'm like, well, that's whenever Tim's on the screen, and to make him look weird and that he has superpowers. It's like,
yeah,
that's it. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, that's because BioWare had a lot of really bad production value and storytelling in the last 20 minutes. And people were trying to make sense of a dog's breakfast. And that's that's all this is.
Anything was better than what they were given. Their minds didn't want to realize that it was just a horrible mess.
Yeah.
How could precious BioWare fuck up like this?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it does take a lot of effort to come to the end of a story that's a trilogy that has all your choices have to have meaning and value and amount to something different because you're going to have multiple endings. But instead of having multiple endings, they had one ending with multiple epilogues of slightly variation on who lived and who died, as opposed to having the way, like, let's say Fallout would do it, where they say this faction, this is what happened to them, that's what happened to this group, this is what happened here. They just sort of congealed it into this big mass of simple answer that is so stupid that you can understand it for what it says, but it doesn't equate to the lore of what we've already been given. Like, oh, by the way, you're all going to die because you made AI. It's like, why? You just will. How do you know that? Because I'm God. It's like, so what? That's not proper thematic storytelling. That's not addressing the plot. That's not addressing the central conflict. And it was changed all within that 10 to 20 minutes. And that's why, one of the main reasons why, aside from characterization and weaknesses and strengths and what have you, why storytelling didn't work. Throw in all the Deus Ex Machinas, throw in all the bizarre logic and questions that pop up as a result of not explaining yourself properly and not telling us why we're in control and where the hell Tim came from and why we weren't obliterated and all these other dozens of questions because of bad writing and bad production. You don't need a theory of dreamscapes to explain it all away, even though it's part of the lore. And now, if the IT theory actually had good evidence and was consistent with what we know of IT, then great. Or of indoctrination, then great. I could say, hey, that's an interpretation you can get behind, even if BioWare doesn't go with it. I could say there's some credence to that because the lore backs it up. But it doesn't. And we're not just talking about the lore from the first game, we're talking about the lore from the third game as well. The third game directly says there is no indoctrination. And we see that on Thessia. And between Thessia and the ending, there's not enough time for Shepard to be indoctrinated. It just, that's how indoctrination works. So, you know, I'm all for people that have these great theories if they work, if they actually have evidence. Because this has some, like we're talking about a dreamscape. So, okay, a lot of things are up in the air. And there is some hard empirical values, as we saw in Mass Effect 1 of the Solarians, their behavior. We saw it with Arrival. Yeah, there's definitely some symptoms we can possibly tie in with Shepard, but we can't tie in completely. And that's the problem. If they did that, though, and didn't bother to implement it, that would be impressive. Kind of like how they had the romance option for Caden on the disc in Mass Effect 1, but they never implemented it. It's like, oh, they actually bothered to tell that story, but they never actually released it for whatever reason. Okay? It's not part of lore, but it was ready to go. And there's really no evidence on the disc or what other things for that to be the case in the last 20, 30 minutes or whatever they want, or whatever they wanted to do in the last hour. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff going on in the entire level of London, which is just a mess. Broken sound, broken music, waves of enemies, the javelin torpedo crap, that crazy interlude where it's all quiet and you go and talk to everyone and you have that little Gatling gun scene. It's just a mess. So I understand. Yeah, I understand where people are coming from to buyer's remorse and make them feel better about a product, but that's not what we got. So, unfortunately. So, thanks, guys. This has been fun. It's been long, and I really want to thank everyone who stuck it out. That was a lot of time just to go through this fantastic, wonderful game of ours. And special thanks to Ebelosis, and Master Stu for staying all this time. We have to say thanks to UDP and Marius who were here. They left. Good night. Thank everyone for all your super chats, and we will see you soon for my next installment of KOTOR Plot Analysis.
All right. Take care, folks.
Likewise.